They have developed call 567 toll free in Dayton Broward. 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of the guests and callers do not necessarily represent those of the Beasley Broadcasting advertisers or agencies. Now, here's Neil Rogers on 560 QAM.
I know that the Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
We want to go now to your closing statements. Governor Bush is first.
Thank you, Jim. What I care about is failure. And you know what? It can happen in America with the right kind of leadership. Surely this nation can come together to encourage doctors to take the lives of our seniors.
Can I comment on that? I would sign a law banning that procedure. If I'm entrusted with the presidency, here are the choices that I will make. I'll cut health care, prescription drugs, education, and national defense, put our budget into deficit, raise interest rates, and put up.
I can't let the man continue.
I believe that Governor Bush is a national asset. Correct, but
that's just totally false. Wait a minute, it's just totally false. For him to stand up here and say that.
Thank you, Governor Bush. Vice President Gore.
You're welcome. So what was the best thing that W said last night? That was the best. In fact, he started off on a real high note when he was talking about his regrets for the passing along his sympathy for the death of those people last night, today, this morning, whenever it was. Those
you know who I'm talking about.
Those dead people. And it went down from there. Oh! And there were people out there saying, "Oh yeah, Bush won the debate. He was really strong. He was really good." Yeah. Affirmative asshole. Is that what he was talking about to that poor Schwartz? Yeah, he's for affirmative asshole. In fact, he's like the poster child for affirmative asshole. Wow. I'm going to tell you something. Did you see how close all the states are now? All the key states, like Florida, Gore is 2 points ahead. This is before last night. And Oregon and Washington and just a zillion very important states. So anybody out there who's registered to vote who thinks that you're going to take a pass this time, oh, look at that. Somebody dicked with my thing over here. Don't take no pass, okay? You got to vote 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Just like W said there at the end, all you people for my opponent, don't vote more than once. Well, guess what? We're voting 4 times. How do you like that, W? Oh! I thought the highlight of the debate was right there at the beginning when Gore, after Bush bumbled around his sympathies. And the first or second question, Gore walked right over to him. I thought we were going to have a fist fight. Looked like we were going to have a brawl, which would have been sensational. Would have been spectacular. The market is taking another big dump today, but you don't want to hear about that, do you? That all your money is vanishing? Some great bargains are developing out there. I'm telling you right now, the Dow was down. You won't believe this, but the Dow about 10 minutes ago was down 438 points. It's now down a mere 309 points. The NASDAQ was down 171. Now it's down only a mere 135.5. As our money just keeps vanishing into thin air. But it's only on paper, don't forget that. Got great value. How about if I give some great value stocks out there, like Nokia, huh? I'm not going to give you the stocks that I've got. Well, maybe I will. Like Nokia, down to $28.5. That's like stealing. Right? Xerox, $7.5. Even if they go out of business, it's still a low price to buy it at. Right? Like Boston Chicken. Wow. So we're going to get some real heavy-duty input on that debate, I'm sure of that. Aren't we going to get some heavy... No? Our poll yesterday here on the show, we had, as usual, we've got people that like to dick around with our poll, but you're not fooling the old man. You continue to try to fool the old man. You can't do it. As of about 6 o'clock last night, our poll question was, should the show go back to guests and topics after George had that great show on Friday with that Palestinian broad posing as an Israeli? But anyway, should we go back to guests and topics? And the choices were absolutely not, once in a while, or yes. Yes meaning all the time. Well, yes only had 53, a paltry 6.3%. But as of 6 o'clock last night, absolutely not was about 30 or 40 votes ahead and pulling away. And then all of a sudden, it always seems to happen right around 6 or 7 o'clock. Must have been the cheap channel people got on their emails with each other and started getting on their work. Yeah, because they'd love to have us go back to topics, wouldn't they? Yeah, and boring guests. So all of a sudden they started getting all these votes. But this time, instead of doing it real obviously like that other time, they 10 here, 20 there, and they're all for once in a while. So once in a while came up with 404, absolutely not 380. Are we going to have guests and topics on the show? No. Over my dead body. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care how many goddamn Palestinian or Italian Goombas come out of the woodwork. I'm telling you right now, there ain't going to be no frickin' guest on the show, except, of course, for the Maddie Bell Hour, which is coming up 11 o'clock this morning. Maddie's going to do a seminar on great talk radio. Yeah. No, he's going to do a seminar on how to be an asshole. And believe me, I can't think of anybody who knows better than he does. Here's some shocking news, some of the greatest news I've ever seen. That last call on the worst team, for anybody who listens to our morning show, was the guy with the eyes. That show, yesterday was Dave the Cop, Hakan Chinook with his Cardinals. Are they in the series, the Cardinals?
No.
Not last time I checked. So all the chronics that we finally have, we're pushing them back in the morning show, because I guess we figure, what difference does it make? Can it hurt that morning show? No, not at this point. So now I guess they're so desperate on there that they're taking the chronics that we're like siphoning away. Pretty soon they'll be talking to Tim. Wouldn't surprise me. That'll probably be tomorrow morning right before the end of the show. It's like our good friend Steve from Hollywood that calls at the beginning of, well, wait until you hear this, boys and girls. Mike Trout. You think he's kin to Trouser? Mike Trout, the longtime co-host on Focus on the Family, President James Dobson's popular radio program, said on Monday he had an inappropriate relationship with a woman other than his wife and had no choice but to resign from a ministry that stresses the sanctity of marriage. There we go again. Huh? There you go again. In an hour-long interview at his Colorado Springs home, Trout, 53, said he quit Wednesday because his behavior violated moral standards that Focus on the Family employees agreed to follow. I'm greatly saddened, said Trout, who's been married for 31 years. I didn't work at Focus on the Family for 19 years because of the paycheck or the benefits or the positive environment. I worked at Focus on the Family because I believe in what we were doing. I know that might sound strange, but I violated it. Trout was reluctant to discuss details of the extramarital relationship, citing the feelings of either of the other family involved. He said the woman was not a Focus on the Family employee. He called the relationship not a long-term thing and said it's over. He called the relationship emotional. Though best known as Dobson's on-air sidekick, Trout spent most of his time managing the Focus on the Family broadcast division as a senior vice president, the only person at the ministry to hold that title. When he came to Focus on the Family, he was one of 30 employees. There are now 1,300. This is the same James Dobson in Fort Lauderdale with that obnoxious radio show that your Mayor Jim Noggle in Fort Lauderdale, goes on the air with and consorts with and spews his bigotry and homophobia and other hatreds against on that program. The same James Dobson with his former bunk butt buddy there, his sidekick, Mike Trout. Won't see him no more. And just like I told you yesterday, just like magic, every single time you find one of these goody two-shoes, finger-pointing, bigoted, you come to find out that their skeleton is just rattling all over the place. They're rattling over here. Florida Gore is ahead by 2 points in the latest poll. Is there anybody... And then I love the thing about the young people. You see the kid with the bad ears that asked the question? Well, there's a guy with the eyes and the kid with the bad ears. But anyway, I asked that question about, young people are asking... And Gore came back with a good answer. Are you going to do the things that you promised? And Gore said, yes, which was good. And then he went and elaborated. And Bush was going... Did you see that startled deer in the headlights look that Bush kept getting on his face? And Jim Lear, again, horrible questions. See, the way this worked yesterday is those people who sat in the audience all wrote out their questions, and then Jim Lear yesterday afternoon got it picked and chose which ones they would ask, and then they could ask their own question. Was there anything on abortion?
No.
On the woman's right to choose?
No.
On the abortion pill?
No.
There are all these different issues that could have been discussed, and instead we had a woman asking about what can we do to make parents more involved in their children's education? What kind of a question is that? And then the one, of course, about morality, and then the Schwarzer want to know about the death penalty and his W. Proud of all the executions, which no candidate since Dukakis, of course, put his foot in this puss, is going to say that they're against the death penalty. So that was just a total waste of time. But nevertheless, it certainly was entertaining, especially the part where Gore walked over to Bush, and I thought he was just going to punch him right out. Wouldn't that have been great? He'd have gone up 30 points. He would have skyrocketed up immediately. CBS poll afterwards... and I'm really shocked that it was that close. They said Gore won 45 to 40%, and the other can't figure it out. They're still trying to figure it out. But this... Oh, and then George P. Bush, the nephew, Jeb's son, who don't look that good anymore, thank God. They hit him on CNN, I guess, before the debate. And he's talking about how much the debates have contributed to the understanding... Contributed. And I thought it must run in the family. Because he's not a banana boat guy. His mother is Mexican, but he was born and raised here and educated here. He's articulate, even though he's talking a lot of crap about how this year was going to be a record-breaking year and more young people were going to vote than ever before. Guess what, Junior? Wrong. Wrong. What does the P stand for in George P. Bush? 10 minutes after 10 at 560 WQM.
No portion of this program may be reproduced without the written permission of WQAM Beasley Broadcast Group Incorporated.
Come on.
Now, the Aflac casting call.
All right, Tom Brokaw.
I'm Brokaw. Aflac.
Again, Tom.
Aflac.
One more time, Tom.
Aflac.
I'm losing the second part. One more.
Aflac.
Next. Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Yes, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Stop saying what I'm saying.
I'll tell you what I'm saying. Aflac.
Again.
Aflac.
Again.
Aflac.
Next. Jesse Jackson.
Aflac.
The
Aflac.
Jesse, I'm sorry, but the duck is white. Next. Woody Allen.
This is nuts. I mean, it's a duck that talks.
Stick to the script, Mr. Allen.
It's crazy. It's insanity.
Read the line, please.
Why would a duck speak?
Next.
Nuts.
The great Sean Connery, sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
From Connery.
Welcome, sir. Just read the line, please.
Aflac.
Excuse me, sir, again?
Aflac.
Sir, I'm sorry. That second part of the line, I don't...
I'm simply saying Aflac.
Next! Oh, God. I guess we got Gilbert Gottfried over here. All right, give it to me, Gilbert.
Aflac.
One more time, Gilbert.
Aflac.
Well, Gilbert, I pretty much hate you, and I think you're terrible, but you're the closest thing we got. You got the job.
10:15 at 560 WQAM. Rabbi tells congregation of personal struggle in St. Petersburg, of all places. How do you like that? I bet they don't. Rabbi Stephen F. Mock said he's been dealing with a wall of fear, and to get over it, he decided to take a difficult step. In a letter last week to his Temple Bethel congregation, Mock wrote that he is gay, and he decided to tell his flock only after much agonizing. In his letter, he asked for understanding, said he wanted to tell his congregation himself. Over the course of time, I have wrestled with my sexuality, and maybe with a few guys, and recognized that I'm gay, he wrote. He's 49 years old, and yada, yada, yada. So far, the range of reaction is unclear. Members who were contacted had no comment, but in a letter that went to members at about the same time Mox did, Temple President Cecile Burko said that Burko. Sounds like they shortened it from Berkowitz, don't it? Yeah. Cecile Burko said the Temple's board met with Mock on October 11th. We reaffirmed our commitment to the congregation and Rabbi, and we're going forward with open minds and open hearts, Burko wrote. Mock came to Temple Bethel from Springfield, Illinois, where for 6 years he was the rabbi at Temple Brit Shalom. He's been separated from his wife, Jacqueline. The Mocks have 3 children. How do you like that? Well, if it's good enough for the priesthood, why ain't it good enough for the freaking rabbis? I thought that when I sat down this morning, since we're now only less than 3 weeks away from the election, and after last night's scintillating debate number 3, the last and final one, I thought that these lines would be smoking here this morning. Are they smoking?
No.
No. Maybe the audience is smoking. Here's a call in the Keys. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir?
Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs what?
The hockey team.
What about them?
They're the best.
They suck.
What?
They suck.
Why don't they have a goaltender?
Can you name me anybody on the team?
No, I...
Yeah, okay. 5670560. Here we are. Here's South Florida. The election is less than 3 weeks away. The polls show Florida is within 2 points, within the statistical margin of error. Dead heat. Even Steven. The future of your children, the future of America is laying on it. And the first call on the Neil Rogers Show this morning, Maple Leafs. They're the best. Doesn't know one player on the team, doesn't know that they've lost 3 of their first 5 games, that they have no defense this year, that they're playing like crap. The guy's over the age of 100. Where is everybody again this morning? Where are these people with their frickin' reaction? Oh, that's right, they're pissed off because I'm not all worked up about Israel. That's right, I forgot about that. Sorry. Am I sorry about it?
No.
Absolutely not. That was pathetic. That was worse than the guy with the eyes, and that's saying a lot. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT. I mean, I got all this other stuff here, but I thought for sure that people would have something to say here this morning. You know what they got to say? That's what they got to say. Holy crap. And you want guests and frickin' topics? And don't get panicky. The Dow's only 257 down in the NASDAQ 103. It's making a nice comeback. It blows. Just like the Maple Leafs, it blows. Parkland, hello.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
Okay.
I'm trying to just understand something. I don't know if you watched, how they do the analysis on the people that haven't made up their mind yet.
Yes, I saw 2 of them. I saw the one on CNN, and then I saw the one on CBS.
I don't understand. What a few of the people were saying that Gore doesn't answer the questions, and I'm like, were they watching the same debate that I was?
No, it was obvious to me, the one on CBS, that those people had all made up their mind ahead of time that they were lying through their teeth, and especially, I mean, you could tell when you looked at them who they were going to support. There was no question in my mind.
Right. I just have a hard time.
But it was interesting. The group in St. Louis, where or wherever the hell they had Wolf Blitzer in that school or church building, wherever it was, and they had that large 22 people in there with them. All of them thought that Gore won the debate. No matter who they supported, they all said Gore won that debate.
Oh, absolutely. And like you touched on earlier, when Gore walked over to him in the beginning, I right then and there I knew the debate. I mean, Gore was going to win the debate from there on.
And Bush had that look, that stupefied look on his face all the time. It's almost like he's holding up a sign saying, "God, am I stupid, and don't you just love it?"
Very good. Another question. You know where the van's going to be today?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right.
I'll let you know.
Well, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Okay. We'll let you know as soon as the nephew and Miguel, get out of the sack. And are they in the sack together this morning? Well, it could be a while. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. West Coast is open, and the rest of the world, 877-785-6345. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? I watched that debate last night, and it's amazing that they allow people to ask questions that have no relevance to 95% of this country.
Right, and Jim Lehrer, this guy from PBS, this fossil, this jackass, he's the one picking from all their questions and deciding, and to give that man, one man like him, an old fossil like him, that much power to influence what the debate's going to be about is ridiculous. Why didn't they just let people get up and spontaneously ask the questions?
Maybe they should bring the program down to Miami or South Florida. We can get the answers we need.
Yeah, we can get a question like the first guy I had, yeah.
Yeah, but the question I have is, why, I mean, I understand that they have these mainstream reporters, but why don't they put on some guys who will actually put these guys to the test so we can see how they operate under fire? Anyway, from three of these...
Yeah, somebody that'll throw them a couple of hardballs. Somebody that'll put their feet to the floor like Larry King, right? There you go. 5670560, pound 560. This is real good so far. Anybody under 100 listening today? One or two? Here's Miramar. Hello.
Hey, Neil. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Listen, answer me a question. Why is it that all Jewish people are liberal?
They're not.
99% of the people that I hear calling into your show...
How about the guy who's doing those commercials? That Ben, what's his name? Ben Shine, Ben Affleck, whatever his name is.
I don't know.
He's a right-wing Jew. He's proud of it. He's a wealthy right-wing Jew. There's plenty of those people.
But there's very few, and I'm not being prejudiced. I'm asking
because it's part of Jewish tradition to be liberal and to care about social issues. That's part of Jewish tradition. It's part of the Jewish ethic. That's correct.
Are you Jewish?
Yes.
And how come?
Am I Jewish?
Yeah.
How long have you listened to this program?
Probably about 5 years.
5 years, and you're asking me, am I Jewish?
5 years too many. But anyway.
5 years too many.
Yeah.
Would you like to go to confession and confess to your priest that you've been listening to the show and you feel bad about it?
Actually, I don't feel bad about it.
Oh, okay.
But anyways.
So how could you possibly ask me if I'm Jewish?
Well,
how many non-Jews use Yiddish words on the air? I mean,
because one thing's being Jewish and the other one is practicing.
No, I don't practice.
I know, and that's why I was asking.
Perfect. No.
That's why I was asking.
No.
But
I'm a practicing atheist. I'm working at it feverishly.
You said the other day you weren't going to vote.
And I changed my mind. I'm going to vote 5 times.
You're going to.
And I'm voting for Gore. I know that'll get you upset, but I'm voting.
No. Hey, listen, this is a democratic country,
right?
And I have
because I can't vote for a moron who is dangerous. I can't do it.
Well, I'm not calling Al Gore a moron, even though I think he is.
No, he's not.
I respect what he thinks and what he wants.
He may be wooden and he may not be charismatic, but he's certainly not a moron.
We definitely don't have a leader in the car.
That is correct.
I
that
agree.
Is absolutely correct.
We have no charismatic leaders out there, and the few that are out there.
You see, you fall into this trap of getting sucked into this liberal thing. Liberals are evil, and liberals are bad, and liberals are going to spend all your money. Let me ask you: isn't Clinton relative to Bush? Wouldn't you say that Clinton is a liberal?
I think on some issues he likes to be.
But I'm talking about relative to Bush.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Now, has Clinton been a bad president? Forget about his, his Monica and all his penis problems. But other than that, would you say he's been a bad president?
I don't think he's been bad, but I do take into consideration the personal life. of somebody when
So in other words, John Kennedy was a bad president. Franklin Roosevelt was a bad president. Eisenhower was a bad president. Nixon was a bad president. All these people were bad presidents because they were screwing around. The fact is that there was nobody out to get them. Even though, like with the Kennedys, everybody knew what was going on there in the White House, but they had enough propriety to know that you separate these people's personal lives and they're screwing around and it's nobody's business.
No, I agree with that. What I don't agree with in Kennedy's situation is that his family bought his way up.
That's correct.
I always had a problem with that.
How about Bush?
Well,
how about Bush?
That's true.
Who got the gentleman's fee at Yale?
That's true. That's true. There is a lot of money in the
and who wound up in the National Guard and didn't go to Vietnam and wound up disappearing in Alabama for a year and never bothered showing up.
Hang on a second. When we brought that up about Clinton, then everybody said, "Who cares?"
Well, why was it relevant? If you brought it up about Clinton, then why wouldn't you bring it up about Bush? It's just like Clinton, he didn't inhale the one time, and a lot of people made a big deal about that. He tried marijuana, but he didn't inhale. Here's a guy that's got a substance abuse problem, that's an admitted alcoholic, and rumors are that he also likes a little up the nose, and you don't have a problem with that.
Not if he's been, sober and dry for X amount of time.
Let me say it to you again. An alcoholic is an alcoholic for life, and he could be dry for 20 years. For 30 years, and that doesn't guarantee that if under some circumstances or under some stress he winds up taking a drink, that he isn't going to become irresponsible again. I don't want an alcoholic being the president.
No, but I also
have a finger on the nuclear button.
I also don't want a first lady that's a manic depressive in the White House. So I mean, we can look at all.
How about a first lady that's a dyke? Yeah, well, that's what you got now.
Well, I have no prejudice against dykes.
But it's into psychics. Well, he likes dykes.
No, that's not what I said. I said I have no problem with what they do in their personal life.
Well, you do like dykes, though. If you had a couple of hot-looking dykes, you wouldn't mind.
Except if they're going to be in the White House. Then I have a problem with it.
Well, what about if they're in the Lincoln bedroom?
The Lincoln what?
Okay, see.
Thanks.
The Lincoln bedroom. That was a good line. The Lincoln bedroom. Bubba turned the Lincoln bedroom into the Lincoln bedroom. Hey! Hillary had something to do with that. Well, I think everybody was getting some, huh? What's the problem with that? Everybody was getting some. They were in a good mood most of the time until it was made public, and then she got real surly about it, and that ugly little daughter of theirs, oh, boy, with a frizzy hair. What is her name? I can never think of her name. Don't say it. Let me see how long it takes before the name comes to mind. If you gave me all the money back right now that I'm lost in the market on paper, I still couldn't tell you what her name is. Chelsea. See, the money did it. That's being Jewish. 26 after 10 at 560 WQM.
Because they're a bunch of assholes.
Right.
Everybody's taking a brand new pill now. No more babies, take a pill abortion. If there's something inside of you making you ill now. No more babies, take a pill abortion. No doctor visits, it's too easy to do. You just pop on a page if the stick turns blue. So come on, take a pill abortion by me.
How could it be a 90 minutes, the last of the debates, how could 90 minutes go by and not one person, especially the women in that audience last night, right there in San Luis, not one woman had a question about abortion and about the Are You Pregnant pill and about Bush's hysterical, fanatical fetus-hugging thing, not to mention, of course, that he wants to divert all of this money to so-called charitable and religious organizations who do all their great work. The religious right and big business, right there at some time. I mean, what can you say about Bush?
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
Well, beside that. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless lines. Don't forget, Best in Deal CDs and cassettes in specs all over South Florida, including Naples and Fort Myers. You can order your cassettes and CDs and keychains at WQAM.com or NeilRogers.com, and the guys will be going out somewhere today as soon as they let us know, as soon as they decide to get off their ass. Here's a Lady Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. The moderator, Wolf Blitzer, was moderating the panel in Warren, Michigan, and I thought that they were the most incisive group.
Yeah. And you recall they were talking about the fact that Macomb County, which is where Warren is the most pivotal. That's a key county because those were so-called Reagan Democrats in 80.
Well, that's very good news. What I wanted to make a comment on was the fact that the talking heads afterwards, I did not hear one of them say anything about Bush's rambling. I mean, there were several times when I felt a little embarrassed for him, to be honest with you.
And he, every time he got backed into a corner, he started doing that rambling, like the thing about affirmative access. Then he started turning to the moderator, to Jim Lehrer, like, oh, well, you know, we agreed on the rules. He made the rules, and we, like a little kid in the classroom who was about to get spanked by the teacher.
That's exactly what I thought, just like a little kid. And he said, no, you're not playing by the rules.
Right.
Anyway, I get so irritated with these talking heads, and I also didn't like how CNN immediately put on Dick Cheney, followed by John McCain. I thought that was
Yeah, but they had Drew Lieberman on there, too. They were all making the rounds, the usual suspects.
Anyway, just wanted to give my comments, and thanks, and have a great day.
Okay, vote early and often.
You bet.
Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, all you folks out there, and you dark folks, you better get out there, baby. I'm telling you that right now, unless you want to be picking cotton in about 6 months. You better get out there and vote 3-4 times. No excuses this time. You better get all your folks out there, all your people. And all you Jews out there, the old Jews in the condo, you better, if you have to take your walker, if you have to squeeze your bag on the way to the polling place, just do it. Bring along somebody with you to squeeze it for you while you're punching your thing, and the ballot too. Look at this. This is pathetic. This is sad. I'm not going to sit here and go through all kinds of gyrations to get a comment out of this crowd. This is pathetic. Okay, George is going to do another show on the Middle East. No, seriously, I'm going home. I mean, there's a couple of calls on there, but this is weak to the extent of, I'm embarrassed. I'm more embarrassed for this town. It's always this way here. Always. Yeah, well, nobody cares about this. You're the only one. Nobody cares, and it's a bad choice. How could you not care? They got a guy on CNBC this morning. I don't know what his name is. I wish I did know his name. He's not on there anymore now, thank God. And this guy is as transparent as a pane of glass. He's talking about, well, you know, pharmaceuticals should be strong. This is when the market was crashing, which is still not too good, but in the first few minutes. And he's saying, well, pharmaceuticals should be good depending on who wins the election. And the only hope we've got in the coming months is for a tax cut, but that takes a long time to kick in. Why didn't he have a Bush bumper sticker on his forehead? Big business, special interests, and the fanatical religious right. That's what this man is all about. He can package it any way. He can make all kinds of self-deprecating jokes like he did there at the end about please only vote once and all this other crap. He's a dodo bird. He's a moron. He's dumber than sawdust. And to see these people, and I understand Gore's about as inspiring as a fruit fly, but nevertheless, you watch that thing with any kind of objectivity last night. Gore buried him. He buried him alive. The man kept backing himself into a corner, grabbing onto Jim Lehrer's hand like, oh, please help me out now. Remember the rules, remember the rules. That thing there at the end about that phony $1 trillion for Social Security. How do you people like to be putting your money in the stock market right now that you're planning on retiring on? Anybody, any volunteers?
No.
I don't think so. In addition to which, even his own people admit that that's a whole scam. It could never possibly work and will bankrupt the whole Social Security fund. But instead of really answering the question, well, it's an old high school debating trick to make an attack on your opponent. Every time there's a dispute about the facts, every time Gore would take issue with any positions of his, if he tries to turn into a personal attack. And his whole response is, well, I get along with everybody and I can work bipartisan and I'll get it done. That's the difference. I'll get it done. Yeah. It's only a half a step away from Ross Perot rolling up your sleeves and lifting up the engine and dust out the old studies and do. Yeah, while he was doing all over Larry King 50 times a week. No specifics, no issues, no facts, no statistics, no nothing. Just compassionate fascism. That's what he has to offer us. How come nobody asked about the judges again last night, about the appointment not only of Supreme Court judges, but federal judgeships? How come nobody asked that kind of a question? Jim Lehrer, there's a man who ought to be pilloried there today. They ought to pillory with Hillary. That'd be a good show. About 10:30 on CNN. Got to beat whatever crap they got on now. Here's a lady in Boca. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am?
You really, God bless you.
God
you
bless
make
me.
my day. I had 8 radios on this house.
Oh, boy.
3 things I want to talk about.
That's probably more than the whole rest of the town tuned to this show.
Okay.
The way things are looking
These
today.
undecided voters, they're liars, they're freeloaders, they want a free meal, which they get when they appear on there, and they want their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
They are BS artists, all of them on all the channels. Now, you watched the Today Show? Did you see
No, I didn't watch that.
Well, let me tell you
For love
something.
of money.
As much as I know and you know and the whole world knows, but half of the world here won't admit it, he won. He killed him, like you said. He battered him.
Gore
I
buried
really
him
wish he
alive.
would have hit him in the mouth.
Yeah, it was close. I thought it was going to be...
This morning, Chris Matthews I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was on with Matt Lauer.
Yeah.
And this was the best thing I have heard through the whole campaign. I have been waiting for somebody to put this jackass in his place. And, you know, Matthews is, Bush and Bush and Bush.
Yeah.
So he said, did you make up your mind yet? He asked Chris Matthews. He says, no. Matt Lauer says, you're a liar. You made it up 4 years ago. I am telling you, I'm writing a letter to NBC, which stands for nothing but crap, and MSNBC stands for more shots, nothing but crap. And I'm going to tell him, let him replace Tom Brokaw.
Okay, and have a great day. Calm down. Boy, she's all worked up. Chris Matthews.
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
21 before 11 at 560 WQAM. I just discovered that. Where the hell did that come from?
Oh, I use it after all of my opens and
I never saw that before, because like I said before when you were on the phone about Bush.
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
There's so many that
Fargo, a movie you should see.
No. Why?
Because it's a good movie.
That's what you told me about that Last Mystery Alaska.
Well, if a good-looking person is the criteria, there's nobody in this movie.
Well, it sure as hell wasn't in that Mystery Alaska, but there was that Bill Hewitt old tape. That wasn't worth it. 20 before 11 at 560 WQA.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Burn the bloody bitches.
It be Alonzo Moldin. And Alonzo, he ain't feeling good. Nails the best, we got the short tragedy. Can't play no basketball now. Cause his skinny husband, he might be falling down. That could be worse for nothing town than have a big bully. Bad kid, who can bounce the ball. Hey, no.
We take you live now to the press conference already in progress.
Boulder. I don't know what I've been told. This lady woman ain't got no soul. Now, here be my doctor.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Marky Tyson from Columbia University, New York. And I'm here to assure you that I had a very good year today. Thank you.
10:45 at 560 WQAM. Americans have most sex, Japanese the least.
Oh!
Americans had sex most often this year, while older teens and young adults in Japan did it the least. A global survey by British condom makers said Tuesday. Americans were also the quickest to lose their virginity, but it was the French who boasted of having the most sexual partners, said SSL International, which manufactures Durex condoms. On average, people globally are having sex 96 times a year. In their survey of 18,000 adults between 16 and 25. You see, they say adults 16 and 25 because in the rest of the world, 16 in almost every country is an adult, in some countries less than that. Americans claim to be enjoying the most sex at 32 times a year, followed by Russians 122, the French 121, and the Greeks, rectum, 115. The survey said young Japanese made love the least often at 37 times a year, while Malaysians did it 62 times a year, and the Chinese 69 times a year. Well, the Chinese are terrified to do it too often because they don't want to start making those babies because, bad repercussions for that. Let's do a quick, we'll come up with a regular poll later and something else, but let's do a mini poll here on who won the debate last night, huh? And get this stupid crap off about guests. Are we having guests and topics on the show? No. I wouldn't have cared if it would have come out 1,000% about having guests and topics on the show. The answer is no. Bye-bye. No way. Who won the debate last night? That's our poll right now. We'll do it for a couple hours and see how that goes. Bush or Gore? Very simple. Can you handle it? Of course, then there'll be a lot of people, well, we watched the ball game. We didn't watch that. We watched the baseball game. Don't you see about that Subway series? Here's a mobile in Delray Beach. Hello.
How you doing? I want to talk about the debate, but let me just say one thing about that woman that was on with George, real quick, okay?
The woman that was on with George, that Palestinian woman posing as Israel?
Let me tell you something. I am not Jewish, but I'm a big supporter of Israel.
Why not?
And I'm a big supporter of Israel. But let me tell you what she said. She equated.
No, wait a minute. See, George you didn't hear what George said. George just said, yes, he is Jewish. You're from New York, right?
I'm Italian, Neil.
But you're from New York.
Absolutely.
Okay. See, I can tell the guy's from New York. He doesn't say, now a lot of people from New York who aren't Jewish sound Jewish. It's a New York sound. But George immediately, that's his anti-Semitism raising up again, says, oh, he is Jewish. See, because of the fact that he can tell you're from New York. There's a few people from New York that aren't Jewish, about 20 or 30.
It's true. Now, most of them are Italian who are Jewish, right?
And some Schwarzes, too.
Listen to this, Neil. She equated, and I'm not lying, she equated Hamas putting a bomb on a school bus or a bus in Jerusalem, killing innocent women and children.
Yes.
That's the same as an Israeli soldier shooting a Palestinian who's getting rocks and bottles and shots, thrown at him.
What about the Palestinians that got burned alive last week?
Oh, what do you mean? That's terrible.
Yeah.
But the terrorist act and somebody defending themselves is two different things, Neil. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Right.
When somebody's defending themselves and somebody puts a bus with...
See, I'm not going to get involved in this because as far as I'm concerned, I know who the terrorists are. I know that Schmatehead there is nothing but a terrorist and always will be. But the fact is that they're all crazy. That's why I won't waste my time getting involved in it because there's no way to justify either side. There are lunatics on both sides, and once you get fundamentalist lunatics together, you have a Northern Ireland, you have an India and a Pakistan, and you have the constant 5,000-year-long thing in the Middle East. There is no such thing as Middle East peace. They just came to this unsigned agreement yesterday, and they're on the talking heads around last night saying, oh, well, even though they had the agreement to end the hostilities, guess what? They're still killing each other. So what a surprise.
Oh, you're right. That little summit was
It's never going to stop. Never going to stop. But you got to understand, there's a lot of people that hate Jews out there, and they enjoy Georgia's shows. I know. Let's hate the Jews. They enjoy that. Let's sympathize with those poor Palestinians. They stole their land, and they don't have enough land elsewhere.
I'm a Bush supporter, and there's been one common denominator throughout the three debates, and all the debates have been an hour and a half long. What happens is
How could you possibly say with a straight face that you're a Bush supporter? How could you say that?
I like Bush. All right, well, let me finish, Neil. Gore started off strong in every one of the debates. No doubt about it. I'm not here to kid you. He has. But in the last 20 minutes of every debate, Bush seems to come on. And
come on with what? You mean about affirmative access?
His closing statement last night, I felt, blew away Al Gore's close. Gore looked very pained in his closing statement. His veins were popping out. He wasn't relaxed. I don't know if he forgot what
I wasn't really looking at their veins. And as far if you want to talk about appearance during the whole thing, to me, Bush looked terrified. He looked bewildered and confused, and he looked dumb. I mean, one thing about him, at least he represents truth in advertising because he looks dumb and he is dumb.
But what people remember, though, is like the last 20 minutes, a half hour, when these focus groups and everything else. That's why the debates are so close when people say who won, who lost, because Bush did very well at the end of each debate.
Well, I don't think he did well at any point. From the very beginning last night when he was humping and fumbling around about the sympathies for those dead people, you know the ones I'm talking about.
Well, Gore did make the biggest blunder of the evening, and I'm not a pharmaceutical expert by any stretch of the imagination, but when I came out of my chair, when Gore said that the pharmaceutical spends more money on advertising and research and development, it's 4-1 the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, that was bizarre.
Yeah, well, he would have been much better off to point out that the number one contributor to the Bush campaign is Philip Morris Company, number 3 is the National Rifle Association, and number 4 are the pharmaceutical companies.
Well, I'm a Bush supporter, and it's going to be, we won't know even midnight of election night who's going to win. We'll have to wait till the next morning. It's going to be that close.
Well, we're going to be having a Palestinian expert on that day to...
George could be the Palestinian expert, by the way.
To sort it all out. Okay.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Zakazan.
Oh, too late to suck up now, George. You're not fooling anybody. You're out of the club.
He knows what that meant.
Yeah, he does know it. He's not Jewish.
Yeah.
See, it's really terrifying to me that you're so anti-Semitic now that it's like pretty soon you're going to come in with swastikas now, which is, it's up to you.
Nobody can defend people being killed without being anti-Semitic. That's what it all comes down to.
Nobody can defend people being killed.
People who are being
I'm not
killed.
talking about that. Forget about the Middle East. Forget about the Middle East. Just in general, you're anti-Semitic. I mean, we know that to begin with.
Said so.
No, because you are. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of anti-Semitism. And based on what?
Exactly.
Based on maybe you had a bad experience in Montana with a Jew up there. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it was Bob Green. That could do it. Oh, that's right. They might buy the station. Like I said, we always liked Bob Green. Must be some. Maybe it was the sales department. Maybe Todd Dreck put you over the edge. Maybe Peter Leonard. We got too many Jews in the sales department. They all smell the same.
If I got a circumcision, it wouldn't convince you that I'm not.
I don't want to know. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Good. I heard you you were crying a little bit earlier for some young callers to give you a call, so I thought I'd call in, let you know I'm under 30 years of age.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to give you my take on the debates and what's really going on. And the way that I look at things is you have what I call the vote issues. And those are things like gun control and abortion, where you get everybody that has an opinion and it just puts them on one side of the fence or the other. But when you really start getting about standard of living and, you know, what's going to make me more comfortable in my life, you know, I say, you know, every time I look at my paycheck and I see the government taking X% for Social Security, and I feel very uncomfortable with them mismanaging my funds, not letting me have a say in where my money goes.
What do you mean by mismanaging your funds? Like they pointed out last night, like Gore pointed out, nobody has ever missed a Social Security check ever in the history since Roosevelt invented it.
Well, no, they haven't missed it, but what they're missing on is, you know, that they're only getting 2% return, and a stupid CD, which is FDIC insured, and, you know, is a secure investment. You're not talking about the stock market there. You're not misleading people. You know, I mean, it's getting you 6 and 7%. So I mean, you're losing 5 to 6% right off the bat, you know, and the government doesn't want to do it. And I mean, it's just a bureaucracy. You know, they want to get themselves richer, and you know that's another thing that really bugs me. You know,
wait a minute, who's getting rich from Social Security?
Well, I didn't say from Social Security. I'm saying that the Democrats they love to turn things around. I mean, you know, you get a guy like Gore.
You know, let's instead of just talking about the Democrats this and the Republicans that, let's look at it again. 8 years ago, we had a $1 trillion budget deficit, $4 trillion budget deficit. We had the economy was in the crapper. Here we are 8 years later. We have unemployment is a zillion times low. We got 22 million new jobs.
Neil, but
minority unemployment is at an all-time low since they started keeping the statistics. I don't understand what you're talking about. The economy is great.
You're going to really sit here and tell me that the economic prosperity that we're having now is directly due to the Clinton administration?
No, it's just a coincidence. It's just an accident. Just like the budget deficits were only a coincidence from Reagan and the rich people with that trickle down, which was just a fraud to give rich people a tax cut.
No,
and it never worked.
It never worked. The accident is that the House and Senate throughout the current administration has been Republican. That's the accident, right? And they're the ones that are really getting the things done.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing Clinton is good at
the
only thing Clinton is good at is getting oral sex in the Oval Office.
Okay, well listen, vote early and often, pal. Whatever makes you happy. See, here we go again. Personalities, Clinton getting blowjobs in the Oval Office, and all this other happy horse crap. Oh, I know he's been bad. He's been terrible. Last 8 years are the worst of my life. I mean, you know, if you just want to be partisan politically, that's fine. That's the way most people are. They're political animals. I'm a lifelong Democrat. But the fact is, if the Republicans had somebody good, I would have considered them. Believe it or not. Somebody who was like a little bit more tolerant, somebody a little bit more rational, somebody certainly with a higher IQ than this bozo, somebody who wasn't in the pocket of the right-wing religious nuts and of the big money interests. Oil companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the tobacco companies. That's George W. If those are the people that you like, those are the people you want to see make a lot of money, then fine, vote for Bush. That's what he's all about. You can give me all kinds of verbal, like these last two callers here. Like the guy, your friend, your Goyish, your friend there from New York. A song and dance about how in the last few minutes, but there was no point at which during the debate last night you could honestly say that Bush looked presidential, that he sounded like somebody that really belonged in the White House. It's just inane. It's ludicrous. You talk about people letting folks putting something over on them. This is unreal. That the Republican Party, which for some reason keeps coming up with candidates like Bob Dole with his limp apparatus and all these other losers, these born losers. I mean, sure, the Democrats had Michael Dukakis. Maybe they learned their lesson. Not that Al Gore's a big improvement. At least he's taller.
Better hair.
I mean, you know, when they had Dukakis running, I said, what the hell are you running him for?
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
Yeah. 10:57 at 560. WQAM. He's about at least 3 feet tall. He would have gotten George's vote. He likes those shortcuts.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station, and WQAM.com for the world.
It's a feeling of day. It's practically each and night. He was resting his mind. He ain't the feeling of day. He ain't the feeling of day. So, yeah, yesterday. George pushed you back when he was a kid. It was his favorite day. Corn and buffet. He wants the White House to be all his. Like a big-shot rich guy. So he can't admit he feels like this. Or just like the best time of his life. That's the way it was. I don't know for the show, but he denied it today. George, you will never get it today. He was a favorite day.
So you're telling me that asshole Frank down in sales, who is not Jewish, I should point out, that he's stealing our cigars? No, he's a kraut. Oh, that's even worse. He's yanking our cigars from Nick's. See, I thought it was a joke. I thought maybe they weren't giving him any for whatever reason, which is unlikely because they love us. But so he just stealing them, and he puts them in his desk and is handing them around the building and thinks it's a big joke. Don't ever let him in that door again, ever. He could bring in 10 accounts tomorrow. I wouldn't touch him with your tongue. I wouldn't have anything to do with him. Not that he would bring in 10 accounts this year, or next year, or the next 3 years. He's another one with those naked pictures. Well, I'll tell you one thing. A lot of folks come in through this place, and all of a sudden, they must be peddling down there at the door when you come in. Must be during the hours when we're on the air, you know?
Uh-huh.
Must be peddling copies of the, want to get some naked pictures? You got a job for life. It's Greg with a billy goat. Here's a lady in Tamarack. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I'm voting for Gore, and I agree with you totally on everything that you've said. I feel that we do need health care coverage for at least 40 million Americans who have nothing. And I don't know what Mr. Bush plans to do about that. He never said anything, did he?
He never gives any specifics.
Never
He
said
talks in
anything about
general.
anything, right?
He doesn't believe in big government. He believes in the people. Just give the people all the money and let them make their own mistakes.
Sure. And most of them will go broke.
Well, give the rich people all everybody else's money.
Right. Well, one columnist said, I remember reading this several years ago, what the Republicans do best is nothing, and what they do next best is nothing. And I totally agree. And I'd also like to know what happened to the quota system as far as immigration goes. What are we going to do about that? We're just going to let everybody come pouring
Well,
in
you
there?
notice nobody asked that question either. Nothing about immigration, nothing about abortion.
Right.
Only a lot of silly questions that like a third grader would be embarrassed
It
by.
was
That's Jim Miller.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm voting for Gore, and I don't think that Bush could be a good leader for us. I don't think he could lead a parade up the street.
Well, let's give him a shot at that. Maybe that'll be pretty good. Have a great
You're
day.
right.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
See ya. How many votes we got so far? Who won the debate last night? 42 votes so far, 29 for Gore, and 13 for Bush. Hey, they got a good sense of humor. I liked it when he said, for about the fourth time. Well, you know, I really want to, my sympathies for them dead people. I mean, the other day, this morning, last night, tonight, whenever they died, them dead people, you know. What was that? And, see, and the thing of it is, the people have made up their minds for Bush. I've admitted many times how embarrassed I am with Gore and what a dunderhead he is and a personality like a rock. I try to be a little bit objective. But the Bush people, it's like there's nothing he can say or do. There's no performance that he can come up with that will shake them from this brainwashing they've had, that because his name is Bush, or for whatever reason it might be, that this man is presidential material. They've been touting him for so long now. Ever since Dole took a big dump 4 years ago, they've been touting him for so long that people just assumed, oh yeah, he's in line. He's next in the ascendancy. He's going to inherit the presidency. He's the next Bush. And then after him it'll be Jeb, and then after him it'll be George P. who, like I said, thank God don't look that good anymore. Yeah, they contributed a lot to our society. They contributed. And I thought to myself, this little wetback, he's a guy, well, I don't want to say it, this little speaker, he's illiterate. Oh, he's Mexican. You don't like him. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hello?
Half Mexican. I don't know which half. Yes, sir.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I sure am.
Oh, great. Neil, I got to tell you, I'm steaming here from some of the calls that you're getting for Bush. I mean, these people need to stop shooting the popping up, drink some water and rehydrate or something, because I cannot see for the life of me how they can how they can say what they're saying. The one guy that...
And did you notice last night also, and I'm sure he doesn't have that head cold anymore, that was the excuse in the second debate that he had a cold. He kept, the whole time he was sniffling there like coke users do all the time. I don't want to suggest that he's still on...
well, all you need to do with that debate, anybody who wants to go back and look at it, is just watch it with the sound down and watch him snivel in the corner there. I mean, the man looked so scared, it was unbelievable, because Gore just came out, and Gore didn't beat him, he pummeled him. Okay, he came out there and he was charged. That was the Al Gore who came out in the campaign in the convention and talked to the people. And that's the guy. He finally got to the point where he said, "I don't care if people like me. This is who I am, and this is what I'm going to do." And that's the guy we should have been seeing all along, because that's the guy who can run this country. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
And these people...
I mean, it's the best we got. It ain't great.
Well, you know something?
Not great.
I'm charged with it. And by the way, you were asking about people who care. I care. And I want to say something to that guy who called and said Republicans have run the Congress for the last 8 years. That's not true. Bill Clinton came in with a Democratic Congress.
The first 4 years,
with a Democratic Congress, and the first budget that he put forward, he knew was going to oust the Democrats from Congress, but he needed to do it anyway because he had to get this country turned around from George W.'s daddy, who had screwed everything up. So, I mean, let's get real. If you're going to vote for George Bush, then you might as well vote for anybody who can talk. You might as well vote for yourself, because anybody can talk the game, but this guy doesn't know what's going on.
Well, he can't talk the game. He doesn't even do that.
Well, I mean,
he hides under the moderator's armpit. As soon as he gets back into a corner, he hides under the moderator's armpit and starts crying foul.
Well, that's true, but he's got the campaign behind him, and they scare me. I'll tell you that. He's got good campaign people behind him.
And Gore's got bad campaign people behind him. If Gore had the right handlers and the right campaign people behind him, he'd be ahead by 25 points right now.
Absolutely, but you know something? This guy comes out and he can talk, and he gets fed, and anybody can get fed. But you want to know something? Gore knows what's going on, from Congress to the Senate to being on the Defense Committee and as the Vice President of this country. Are you really, these Bush people, are they really going to take a chance on somebody who can just talk? I mean, any of us can talk. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay.
I mean...
Calm down, vote 2 or 3 times.
All right, 20.
Okay.
All right.
See ya. I think George, in there, little George, every now and then he puts his thumb on it. He summed it up pretty well. He said you got a choice between Gore and Gornish, and I think he was right. Well, he's learned his Yiddish on the show over the years. He knows which side his bread is buttered on, even though he's going home with his Heinrich Himmler
I have a tape. I have a
blow-up doll. 9 minutes after 11 at 560 WQAM.
How young is too young?
Even the problem is you're not talking to yourself. You barely say 2 words to him, then you call me.
One full hour of the hottest talk on radio. The doctor is in.
Masturbate, okay?
Okay.
All right, masturbate and call me back in a couple of weeks.
Dr. Visco.
Hello, you're on the air with Dr. Visco, and how may I help?
Dr. Visco?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, listen, I'm in a lot of pain.
Sure.
I'm bleeding.
Sure.
My arm is bleeding.
Sure.
And,
I am not that kind of doctor. Are you familiar with Dr. Dean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you should be calling Dr. Dean's show. He could help you out with that.
Oh, yeah.
So do that. And listen, while you're on hold, masturbate.
Okay.
All righty?
Dr. Visco, weekdays at noon.
14 past 11 at 560 WQM. Speaking of that, here's a headline on a story in the sports section in the paper this morning, Sun Sentinel. tight ends grasping task.
Rectum.
Does that tell you what I was talking about the other day? Put its thumb right on it. There you go. tight ends are grasping it. 5670560. How's that survey coming so far? 89 votes. Who won that debate last night? Pretty simple question. 70 people said Gore won. No-brainer. 19, speaking of no-brainer, said Bush won. I mean, it's just terrifying to me that even in this audience of supposedly brilliant people...
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
Yeah. Is line 6 working or what? No. See, I knew that. Well, no, because it just doesn't make sense that it would go from 5 to 7 all the time, and it would just be not working. I just thought I'd check it out.
It was not working the other day, and then it got fixed.
It got
supposedly.
Fixed? Oh, supposedly it's not working again? Well, I thought we would just check it out so we can report it to our engineering staff so they can report it to the phone company that we got one line doesn't work. Thank God we got a few others that do. I might even need them. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
All right.
Absolutely, Gore won the debate, and thank God that he was himself finally, and he digged that guy completely down. What I would like to say, I was watching CNN last night, and there was like interviewing those people undecided. And one of the teacher, you can see like he's completely gone for the Republican side, and he's a teacher. He wants to know about education and then about the gun thing. When they finished the debate, they asked him, who you think won the debate? So he starts saying, I think Gore done a lot of good job regarding the education, and he spoke a lot about school, and I think he done a better job. So Gore said to him, so you decide for Gore? And he said, no, I still lean to George W. Bush. And he said to him, why? And he said to him, well, I think because of the gun issues. So he's a teacher, and he's a guy for education.
Well, he figures now that Bush has let the guns in churches and synagogues in Texas, next will be a law to let you bring your piece into school.
Uh-huh. Well, I think even if President Clinton will run again, we'll beat George W.
Okay, let's hope so.
Thank you.
Okay, because I'm gonna get him to run again. Who was? Oh, it was Todd Dreck who was in here this morning, and you better strap yourself in. One of our salespeople who comes out. His new deal now is he comes up and just talks my ear off. My good buddy Todd Dreck, and just very annoying. He was getting into a political thing, and I mean, it's the talk around the water cooler here, now that we actually have some of our purple parrot water in the building. But about the debate, and Bluff and I were talking about the debate. So anyway, Todd Dreck saying to me, well, and he starts telling me about Clinton. He says, you may think I'm crazy, but I think he did a pretty good job. So obviously Todd does not listen to the show. That's number one. And number two, he says, but I guess he, even if he wanted to, can he run again? Isn't that 8 years? No, see, George just fell off the chair. Would somebody pick George up off the floor? Yes. This is a man married with children, with graying hair, in our sales department, Jewish, never stole a freight train that we know of, but did bring Fat Boy into the building, okay? So you see the correlation now? He brought Fat Boy in here, not as bright as he may have appeared at some point in time.
I see a pattern.
Yeah, I see a very definite male pattern baldness. Would beat the hell out of that gray hair. But yeah, he actually asked me if Clinton could run again. And you know what I said? Yeah, I said that. He said, yeah, that's a good point.
Only during a leap year.
Right, only if he leaps on it. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
Want me to tell you the 100% problem with this whole election?
Yeah.
Al Gore is just too smart for the general public. That's the bottom line.
Is that it?
When you get these two guys on stage, they ask a question, like last night, this lady asked a question about vouchers and school systems.
Right.
Gore gets up, and Bush gets up there talking about his accountability and consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And they pan back to this lady, and there's tears welling up in her eyes.
Yeah.
And he's speaking in generalities.
Yeah.
They ask Gore a question about it, and he gives you statistics, and he gives you numbers,
well,
and everybody in the audience looks at, their eyes glaze over.
The astonishing part of the debate last night was the woman, the kind of a pudgy woman with glasses who asked about, she said she was 34, single, and she was asking about the tax cut plans and how they compare and how it would affect her. And Gore answered the question, he gave her or whatever, and his whole response was about tax cuts. Bush answered the question by going on. He started saying something about tax cuts, but then I thought he was going to lose it at that point. He started rambling and going on about, well, it'll be safe and safe for your children. Of course, he didn't have any children, but safe for your children to go to school, and the world will be safe. And he was just rambling incoherently about all these unrelated things because he can't really answer a question. If it isn't something that he's been pre-programmed with, he can't do it. He doesn't have it.
But the bottom line is, when Gore answers a question, it's so detailed that most of the public looks at him and they totally lose their concentration. They lose what he's trying to come across with. And what happens is you get a guy up there who speaks to the general public in generalities, and they understand it. They're like, he'll say something like, well, we need to do this, but he doesn't explain how he plans to do it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, yeah, we do need to do that.
That's why there was 19 million people voted for Ross Perot, because he talked in glittering generalities and he wasn't one of the above, and therefore he was appealing to a lot of dumb people.
Exactly. And that's what's going to be the problem here, is that he is going to appeal to a lot of people that just cannot comprehend what Gore is trying to express, and they're going to go vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm scared as hell.
Scary, yeah. I'm squeezing it right now. I got that passport under my armpit.
I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn around. I guess at this point, they're still neck and neck.
It's you know something, I don't believe any of these polls, because every day it's a little bit different, and one day it's Gore's up 3%, and then it's Bush is up 6%, and then it's down to 3%, and if you look at the state-by-state polls, it's so damn close. The whole thing hinges on only one thing: who votes? Who's going to vote on November 7th?
Well, I'm hoping that what's going to happen is, I think that these polls that are being conducted by a lot of these TV networks and you know, and CNN and everything, they're not getting a lot of the people from 18 to 25.
Well, they're not going to vote.
People like that don't respond to those types of polls.
They're not going to vote.
Maybe they'll go out and vote. And I think that the predominant amount of those people that go out and vote are going to vote for Gore. So that makes
But they're not going to vote.
Well,
in addition to which, I disagree with you. I don't think that most of the 18 to 24-year-old people, in fact, the ones that are going to vote in that age, they're voting for Nader. They're throwing their vote away. He's turned on this generation of young, naive, idealistic, starstruck goofballs who think that going out and voting for Nader is going to accomplish something, and all that would do is help get Bush in.
Well, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, okay, good luck to us.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the truth. The young people, the only ones that seem to be turned on this thing, just like with John Anderson, hey, you know something, it's great to be idealistic, but you can't be politically naive all your life. Sooner or later, you have to wake up and realize that your vote is supposed to mean something, not just make some kind of a goddamn statement. It doesn't make any statement at all when you're just screwing things up. It makes no statement. Oh, no, we're going to go out and vote for Ralph Nader because he's working on that Corvair fan belt. And you know something? The fan belt on my 60 Corvair never broke. I hate to break the news to you, Ralph. How come nobody brought up the thing about Firestone, about big business and the way that the government is allowing all this crap to go on? And about the bill that they finally passed after much, much pressure. See, if you're enamored with the National Rifle Association, with Philip Morris and all the other tobacco companies, and with the pharmaceutical companies that are raping the public, and you notice last night Bush made a comment about he doesn't want to see prices come down. That was great. Because he's in the pocket of the big pharmaceutical companies that, like I said, are raping not only senior citizens, but everybody. I have to buy all kinds of prescription drugs. I got more goddamn drugs you take than Carter's got liver pills. I can afford it, but I'm not happy about it. It costs an arm and 5 legs. And, of course, if you have a pet and you go to your veterinarian, I told you about the 14 pills for my golden retriever. $63, 14 pills. That's over $5 a pop, almost $5 a pop. Oh, no, you're wrong, Neil. It's all the research and the development. Yeah, whatever you say. Here's Fort Myers. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Well, obviously you are right on 100% about everything that's going on here. The question is, what is it with the media?
Oh, we got fake crap on our poll again now.
Oh.
Somebody's dicking with our poll. All of a sudden, Bush just got like 60 votes in a row. So now they're dicking with our poll.
What is it with the media? Are they afraid people are going to think they're liberal-minded? I mean, how can they give this guy a pass? I mean, he is a moron. There's no question about it. And anybody that objectively could look at the debate last night and say it was even. It's just totally, it's Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know whether it was last night or some other time, but I heard Bush say that his mother didn't think he could win. I don't know whether it was the presidential race or the governorship in Texas. And my feeling is she just didn't want to be embarrassed or him to be embarrassed. She knew what he's a good kid, but he's mediocre.
Mm-hmm. Dumb.
At best.
Dumb.
And I'm just hoping. I know you're not a fan of Saturday Night Live, but I enjoyed their skit.
Oh, the stuff they did this last week. I didn't see the show, but I saw all the clips. Was the best.
Oh, there's some stuff done on this Mad TV also that's pretty good. But I got a feeling that if Carvey's on there Saturday night, he's going to do. Did you see in the background when Gore was speaking at one point when he had just really put Bush down, and he was kind of teetering back and forth? In the background, you could see Bush going back and forth, kind of like some kid in the principal's office is about to get whipped.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that. I'm not sure Saturday night they're going to do that.
Well, almost every time Gore made any comment about Bush's policies, he got that look on his face, that really dumb, pouting look on his puss. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand how stupid he is. You just have to look at his facial expressions and listen to his whimsical, idiotic remarks, and this is a moron.
Oh, what have we got? Just a bunch of lemmings in that group of undecided people?
That's the perfect word.
Well, then we're going to have to go down and dirty. I don't know any other way to do it.
Okay.
See you.
$50 a vote. So we got the poll screwed up. Oh, now it's up to 116. Look at that. 50 votes are bogus. At least 50, probably 60. It was 2-1 that Gore was ahead, and more than that. And then all of a sudden, we got the cute crowd out there screwing up our poll. Doesn't work. Doesn't fool me. I keep my thumb right on it, baby. It was like 86 to 33, and all of a sudden now we got Bush has got 116 to 93. Anybody believe in it?
No.
So you can can that poll on there, Eric, because it's all over with. It was overwhelming that Gore wanted to. See, they get on there with each other, and they're emailing, and they're potchking around, and they're screwing around with it. Oh, yeah, let's flood that thing. It isn't going to fool anybody, because the people that are voting on this poll, most of them have got a brain. At least 93 of them, I would say. 25 after 11 at 560 WQN.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Anybody have a heart or a liver?
Can anyone explain what the reason is why?
No.
Never won election or held office in a life. I guess it comes down to being Billy's wife. Where have you gone, Ricky Lotio? Are you in the witness protection plan? Man, oh man, where have you gone, Ricky Lotio? You've become the invisible man. Get a plan, for God's sake, man.
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
It's 11:30 at 560 WQAM. Here's a fact. The reason I play that right now from Arthur Anderson, LLP, or at least on their fax machine. I'm going to laugh my ass off at all you liberals on Wednesday, November 8th, when we all wake up in Bush country with a Republican Congress and Senate and Hillary losing in New York. Ha, 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 it says.
Did you get the count right?
Yes, I did. I made extra sure to get Arthur's count right. What does LLP mean? Legal, linguistic, prick?
Extra long playing,
Yeah. Then here's a fax from Daryl in Sarasota who says, thank God someone with reason, you.
Oh, God.
Did you really notice Bush's eyes last night? When he first came on, I thought sure he was on something. It looked as though he was OD'd on a painkiller. He rambled just like an alcoholic. They should have done a urine test on him last night. Good weed, maybe, it says. Bush is an idiot. I watched all three debates. The GOP, the Grand Oil Party, said, well, he got through it. What a compliment. What happens if Bush would win the White House and couldn't take the pressure of the job? Guess how he's going to take care of it? For us to vote for an admitted alcoholic to be president of this country is inexcusable. Then we have a vice president just waiting to have another heart attack. Yeah, that's the point that Paul Begala makes in his book about the fact that W allowed Poppy to pick Dick Cheney, who, of course, was his henchman during the Bush senior administration. And he points out, he says, pop quiz, which of these medical maladies has Dick Cheney not had? 1, a heart attack. 2, another heart attack. 3, a third heart attack. 4, open heart quadruple bypass surgery. 5, cancer. G, gout. 6, an allergic reaction to a pomegranate that nearly killed him. Or 7, the heartbreak of psoriasis. If you guess the last one, you're the lucky winner. And that's, of course, before he goes into the long litany of ultra-right-wing votes that he cashed in the Congress. But that, we don't want to hear about that. We want to let him off as being a nice guy because we want to be real civilized. Right, you, Lieberman?
Uh-huh.
Attaboy. Here's Moral Gables. Hello.
Neil, I'm glad you brought up that book by Paul Begala because yesterday you inspired me to go out and get this book.
Good.
And I've got to tell you something. I thought George Bush was just a thundering blockhead before I got this book.
Uh-huh.
Now I not only think he's a thundering blockhead, but I think he is a thundering blockhead, Nazi, goose-stepping fascist. And I'm scared to death if this man gets elected.
Yeah, you can almost hear those boots marching in the background.
And it really frightens me. I mean, this man, the things he's done to the state of Texas and the things that have come out of his mouth that he's said, how can anybody take a look at this man and take him seriously?
Beats me. Scary.
And what scares the hell out of me, too, is in watching the talking heads after the debate last night, interviewing these people who are undecided, these people particularly from the Midwest saying, oh, George Bush seems like a nice guy. Well, you know what? That's not what you need in the White House. You don't need a nice guy who's going to take too much pressure and too much stress and sniff it up his nose.
And it's too bad that they didn't have time when we were talking about capital punishment. I guess Gore really blew it there. He had a chance. to point out that they had executed mentally retarded people in the state of Texas, which even here in Florida, with our love to execute people, his brother doesn't do that. We don't execute retarded people in the state, but in Texas they execute anybody, including people like you read in the book, people who had lawyers who were sleeping during the trial, public defenders.
Right.
They can't be bothered with that.
No, not at all.
Any other state in the country that automatically would throw out the death penalty, but not in the state of Texas. They love putting the snuffing them out.
Absolutely. And, it's amazing, too, how much he's managed to screw up the state of Texas, considering, like it says in the book, that the governor in the state of Texas barely has any power.
Yeah.
And I just dread to think...
Yeah, but he's got a lot of buddies who have plenty of power. That's where the bottom line is.
Absolutely. But this book is very well written, extremely funny. And I got to tell anybody out there listening, you've got to go out, spend the $12 on this book, and really realize what it is that this man stands for.
And keep in mind that the title, Is Our Children Learning, is a direct quote from Bush in Grand Rapids, Michigan, January 11th, 2000. Just like everything else in the book, it's documented. It's there are footnotes. It's not stuff that Paul Begala is making up.
Not at all. This stuff, and that's what the most frightening thing about it is, and people really, really need to realize that this country is in some serious, serious doo-doo, as his dad would say, according to the book, is if he gets into office, and I fear for the future.
And like he says, if somebody would just show him where Kosovo is on the map, maybe you could do something about it.
And if he can figure out what continent Mexico is on, he'll be in good shape. All right, Neil, thanks.
Yeah. Is our children learning?
Yeah.
What do you think? 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. All you Bush people can stop wasting your votes on here because we're not paying any attention to it anymore. I wouldn't even want to tell. Oh, yeah, see, once they get going with this thing, they're just pumping it all through there. They got their pipeline, and they're pumping it through. Does it work?
No.
No. That poll's all over. They're all done with. We'll come up with some other good question by the end of the day. Some other poll for overnight. Here's a mobile in the Gables. Hello.
Neil, Gore keeps talking about certain things that he says are really important, like Medicare, Social Security, and education, etc. But Bush keeps coming back with him that he had 8 years to correct these things. Why didn't he do it?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the answer to that?
What is the answer to it? Well, first of all, when he took over, as he pointed out last night, Medicare, when the Democrats took over in '93, Medicare was almost bankrupt.
What have they done to correct it?
What have they done to correct it? It's solve it now until 2026, whatever the hell you read. He answered the question last night if you were listening to the debate.
Okay. Secondly,
and what they've tried to do in the other areas, the Republicans, and keep in mind the Republicans control Congress the last 4 years, have made it impossible. Gun control legislation, health care, you name it.
Okay, well, if the Republicans control it again, how's Gore going to change anything? I don't think he can bring it.
Beats me. That means all. And so, in other words, you're suggesting that if we have a Republican president and a Republican Congress, that's what you want?
Gore cannot. You don't even like Gore.
I asked you a question. Is that what you want, a Republican president and a Republican Congress?
Yes, I do.
And what's that going to accomplish?
Whatever George Bush wants.
Okay, great. There you go. Whatever Georgie wants, Georgie gets. Sir, I got news for you, okay? You are the perfect Bushman. You are definitive. Right there. That call, you, and I would say your mentality, but lack of. I mean, sure, it's even Steven, it's 50-50, both candidates suck. But the fact that somebody could articulate in such a grotesque and pathetic way what you just did, it tells me everything I need to know. Whatever he wants, that's what we're going to get. And this is America. See, this is the problem. There's no IQ test for voting. They're always bitching about the fact that not enough people vote. I think, unfortunately, it's not the question of how many people vote. The wrong people vote. Like some of the people you saw in those hocus pocus groups last night, most of them are a bunch of liars anyway. Oh, we're undecided. And I thought Gore was very impressive. Like the guy said before, he was very impressive, and he had his statistics and his facts, and on the issues he made a lot of sense. Oh, you're going to vote for Gore? Oh, no, I'm still leaning to Bush. Based on what? Yeah, right. That was definitive. That was perfect. Sir, for $1 million, I couldn't have got a better Bushman than you. In fact, you ought to be the poster child for the Bush campaign. Whatever Georgie wants, Georgie gets. Which is what Paul Begala writes about here in the book. In fact, it's almost a direct quote. Failed in business, all of a sudden he becomes a hot shot of the Texas Rangers. Trades away Sammy Sosa. Oh, he gets rewarded with zillions of dollars in stock at no cost to him, and winds up with $14.9 million for his measly investment. Everything he's done in his life has been a failure, and he's gotten rewarded for it. Then to be governor of Texas, and then to be a Republican candidate for president. He's been a failure and a dunderhead, and he just keeps getting it handed to him because greater powers than us have decided he's going to be president. And if you don't believe me, just turn on CNBC any day between now and the election, including today. If you believe that little people like us are manipulating what's happening on Wall Street and all these talking heads that they know what they're talking about, forget about it. Forget about it. There hasn't been anything. In fact, the statistics that have been coming out, like the CPI, it was a good number. Is the market going up?
No.
No. It's not like it was before, but it's still in the crapper again. And we still got 4.5 hours to go today. Because God forbid that the market should be really great and the economy should be singing along the way it has been for the last few years here. Right at election time. That's not good for the powers that be, for the big business people who manipulate the strings. And if you don't believe that, boy, you're dumber than I thought you are. 21 before noon at 560 WQAM.
Chestnuts sliding in your open pipe. Crack nuts slipped up your bunghole. Poo-poo, Richard Hatch, your ass young and so ripe. It became a booty casserole.
Rectum.
And so those young boys, they invaded you. A sick game that they wanted to play. Although you were 8, you realized it felt great. Your 15 minutes is up. Go away. A survivor who is gay.
11:44, 560. A perfect lead into this fax from allegedly Bill Parker in Miami. You never know, because half the time they make the names up. And I would if I wrote this fax, especially when we get to the last sentence. Tonight on Crossfire, on the left, Gore supporters, on the right, Bush supporters. Gore supporters, he lists trial lawyers, Hollywood, the music industry, and gay and lesbian alliances. On the right, Bush supporters, big tobacco, drug companies, the NRA, and faith-based organizations.
Boy!
So what's the difference, he asks? The liberals compromise the value of America and teach you that you can commit crime and not have to pay a price. The liberals market violence to children. The liberals publish and target sleaze to kids. The liberals tell kids homosexuality and lesbianism is okay and it's a natural thing.
Okay!
Abortion and the Supreme are no longer major issues. The Supremes are a major issue?
Yeah, did you hear
what
about
are they running
concert?
for? They're no longer major issues, and the liberals can't stand it. They need issues like this to fan the flames and scare Americans. The choice is clear. Bush for a better America. And then Bill Parker in Miami, allegedly, he ends this brilliant fax by writing, oh, by the way, Neil, you can't be a Jew and an atheist at the same time. It's an oxymoron that benefits a moron. Well, I hate to break the news to you, Bill, but Judaism isn't only a religion, it's an ethnicity. So you can be as Jewish as the day is long, you can eat as much deli as you want, and not believe one business about the Bubba-Mices of religion. So guess what, Bill? Who's the moron now, asshole? How do you like that? You can't be a Jew and an atheist at the same time.
Jew atheist.
Fag. Spick. And of course, as far as Bill Parker is concerned, he's an asshole. There you go. I hate those name callers. Here's Sunrise. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
You know, you said it a lot of times. Now, let me just say, I'm a long-time listener to your show, and I'm a Republican, so obviously we're not as closed-minded as you seem to think we are.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of your own callers said it earlier, and that's what prompted me to call in, because y'all were discussing the budget and what the president, you know, put forward in the beginning of his term. And your own caller said that when he came into office, he knew the budget he put forward was going to get those Democrats out of there, but he had to do that because he wanted to move the country forward. And you agreed with him. Now, that's exactly what happened. He knew he needed to move the country forward, and these Democrats weren't going to do it, so he put forward a budget that got them all kicked out of office.
Oh, yeah, they got all kicked out of office.
Well, they did. The Republicans took over the House and the Senate.
They all got kicked out of office.
That's what your own caller said.
Yeah.
He said he put forward a budget.
No, that's not what the caller said. He didn't say they got them all kicked out of office.
Rerun the tape.
How much of a majority do the Republicans have in the Senate?
Oh, it's like 7?
5.
5, okay. I don't know exactly. I know
if they wouldn't have murdered the governor of Missouri the other night, then probably the Democrats would take control of the Senate this year. That'd be very close.
And they're the vice president. I mean, the way it looks right now, it would have been about 50-50.
Right, Hugh Lieberman would make the choice, right?
Right, if he's so lucky. He might be.
Yeah. Well, Britney Spears is lucky.
Anybody with Britney Spears would be lucky.
Maybe he's got boobs as big as she's got. You never know. Good luck to you, pal.
Have a good day.
Okay. Yeah, they threw all the Democrats out of there, and he did that intentionally. Did he do it intentionally?
No.
No. So what are these people complaining about? They got every seat in the House and the Senate, according to this guy. They threw all the Democrats out. What's the problem? How come the Republican agenda hasn't, been put in place, and how come we're not marching off the camp yet? 567. What time is it? 567-0560, pound 560 on the. I love these calls. And the guy who called before, you said the audience claims that he's the Boy Scout hugging Pat Buchanan fascist. Yeah. The one a couple of calls ago that I said was the perfect Bush man. Maybe he knows the guy that says
you're gay.
Yeah, that might be it too. See, that's another thing. When you strip away the veneer of this, it's all about, being a conservative, and it's all about not having big government. Bull crap. It's all about hate. It's all about big business and hate. I mean, at least be honest about it. Like Bill Parker, he don't like the fags. That's what this is all about. We don't like fags. We don't like coons. We don't like Jews. We don't like any minorities. We believe in affirmative access, which means that anybody can go in a restroom. Isn't that what that means? And then we even have handicapped access. That's exactly what that means. You go to Mickey D's and anybody can get in that toilet. If you can get your ass through the door, that's affirmative access. I mean, you see, anybody who was really honestly on the fence, just watching that portion last night alone, when he was wrestling with that and about, well, if that's what the Supreme Court says, if that's what the Supreme Court says and you want my vote to be president, that's what their definition of affirmative action is, and you don't know what it is? The same man who says, if you'll just help me show me where Kosovo is on the map, maybe I could do something about it. Show me where it is on the map. You see, you can come up with all the semantical crap that you want to do and give me a big song to dance. The fact is, things are going great now, and that bothers a lot of you, doesn't it? Because Clinton and Gore and the Democrats can do no good, ever. Just like Roosevelt didn't do any good. That's why they elected him 4 times. That SOB. Because Democrats are bad and Republicans are good. That's the thinking. That's the way the mind works of these kind of people. The professional elephants. That's the way their brain is. The Democrats are all bad. They're all bleeding heart liberals and commie pinko whatever. And they're going to spend all of our money. So all of those deficits we had couldn't have come under Reagan and Bush, did they?
Uh-huh.
Because they were waiting for it to trickle down because they gave the rich people those gigantic tax cuts that never did trickle down to anybody else. So that we had that high unemployment rate, and a lot of people weren't doing so well. Here we are 8 years later. 22 million more people have got jobs. Unemployment among minorities at an all-time low. Overall employment is like under 4%. But we still have to come up with some kind of desperate reasoning to find out why they're bad.
He got that blowjob.
That's right, he got blowjobs.
That's bad.
Unlike Nixon and his Chinese girlfriend, and unlike Eisenhower and his mistress, and unlike all the other ones.
Shut up.
Oh, and then the Kennedys, too. It was bad. He said it was good. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay.
I'm watched all 3 debates, and it's funny. Gore won the first debate, and somehow public opinion seemed to go towards Bush.
Well, no, they said that Gore won the debate, but then for some reason Bush started gaining the polls.
Yeah, and they had a thing on CNN last night where they said this instant poll, and they said that Gore won the debate, Bush was more believable and more likable, and Gore expressed himself more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I can think of is that people are not voting on issues. They've got their heads in the sand and they're blind to the issues, and for some reason it looks to me like this is just, if there's no other explanation. The economy is good. If you look at the way things are, Gore should be a shoo-in. The economy is good. We've had a great 8 years.
Bubba did a great job in Kosovo.
Exactly.
And Clinton, he went there personally in the Middle East, and even though there were never going to be peace, at least they got some kind of a temporary agreement, so they're not blowing each other's brains out quite so much now. And we have generally peace around the world compared to what it usually is. What the hell is it that these people want?
Even Clinton in the Middle East, he's doing the best he can, and that's a bad situation.
I think that's the 60 cents a day that they're going to get under the Bush tax cut. Most of these poor slobs out there, the 60 cents a day is what they're really jonesing for.
I don't know what it is, but there's just, I wish I could get it figure it out because Gore just comes. That's the only thing that I can explain is that the way he comes across, there's something about it, and Bush has got this kind of. I think it's moronic, but some people seem to like the way he comes across in this simpleton. I'm a plain-speaking kind of guy, you know, and I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But
it's pretty disheartening, to say the best.
Yep. All right. Have a good one.
Okay, hide under the bed. I'll let you know when it's safe to come out. All you kids out there, hide under the bed. We'll let you know when the boogeyman goes away. That's our new poll question. Is it worth voting in this year's election? Yes or no? Get rid of this other thing because we got 350 bogus Bush votes on there. We're not paying any attention to it. So you can save the energy. Save your finger to stick up your rectum because we're not paying any attention to it. Is it worth voting in this year's election, yes or no? And by the way, I should point out ahead of time that the Bush people would like to have you stay home. They'd like to have a real small turnout. Because any time there's a small turnout, it's good for these people. When there's a big turnout, it always tends to be good for those commie, pinko, liberal, Democrat, Jew fags. Us. Yeah, Bill in Miami says Jew can't be an atheist. It's an oxymoron. Well, who's the moron, Bill? If I had $1 for every Jewish atheist, I would have to be sitting here right now. Here's Fort Myers. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
A couple things I'd like to mention. You brought up the health care thing earlier, or the drugs. They always say the drug companies have to make all this money because they do all this research. Mm-hmm. Well, the fact of the matter is, the NIH, the National Institute of Health, does all the key research, and that's our tax money that pays for that.
That is correct.
They pick up on that,
right,
and then they go run with it. And by the way, you take a look at the health care funds, Vanguard Healthcare and the other funds. Mm-hmm. The market has been tanking like a pig this year. The health care funds are all up.
How do you like that?
Way up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Vanguard Healthcare is over, like, close to 50% up.
Oh, now you're telling me.
Now, why do you suppose? Yeah, that's if we had did in the health care, we'd be making money. That's the point. They're making money. They always make money. Mm-hmm. They're making much too much money. They always got.
Well, that's why they have their vested interest of getting Bush in there, and they're peeing in their pants afraid that Gore's
exactly. And as soon remember this. As soon as Gore came out, or the president actually came out first with the idea to have health care for rather drugs for Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that happened, did you notice the ads come on, the Mary and Louise and all that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the money goes for the ads, because they're definitely, for the only time health care funds and drugs went down is when Clinton came out with his health care plan. That's why they hate Hillary. They hate Hillary with a passion because she was going to get him.
Well, they better get used to her because she's going to win. I mean, I know people, I'm not that crazy about her myself, but she's going to win because Gore's about 25, 30 points ahead of New York State, and she's going to win.
Yeah, anything but this Lazio guy. You know, Lazio's buddy with Tom DeLay.
And Newt Gingrich. Okay, have a great day, pal.
Okay, bye.
I think they're bunk butt buddies. Isn't that what I heard?
Uh-huh.
And maybe they're hanging out with that Jim Dobson's buddy, that trouser trout guy. How do you like that, huh? In case anybody missed the beginning of the show, that's worth repeating, Neil. Okay, I agree with you. Mike Trout. See, here we go again. As far as the so-called, what did that? I threw in the wastebasket. Faith-based, whatever that was. Crap is what you're talking about. Bill Parker. You would know Bill Parker from Howard Parker, from Jack Parker Jr. Mike Trout, the longtime co-host on Focus on the Family, President James Dobson's popular radio program, said Monday he has had an inappropriate relationship with a woman other than his wife and had no choice but to resign from a ministry that stresses the sanctity of marriage. All these goody two-shoes, phony below, Bob Livingston, frickin' Henry and his hide, Dan Burton up there in Indiana, every freaking one of them, all the finger pointers, they've had their finger up somebody's rectum, and it wasn't necessarily their own. Who are you people kidding? Jim and Tammy Faye, and we had Jimmy Swaggart. Well, I shouldn't be surprised that George W. and his backers are able to pull the wool over so many millions of Americans' eyes. When you got all these religious fakers coming on there, and then they make a big comeback. Once they get forgiven, they're more popular than they were in the first place. Oh yeah, the fallen sinner, he's repentant. Who the hell are you schmitten, man? God, you can smell it right through the TV screen. Oh, and Tammy Faye, she's big with the gay community now. Oh, great. I'm really impressed.
No.
Wow. They like her mascara. They're jealous. 4 minutes till noon at 560 WQA.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station, and WQAM.com for the world.
Get the Hoover out the moon, man.
This ain't a song about a happy couple. Since we got married, my wife's weight doubled. Thighs like a tree, and she's got a big tush. Her stomach so flabby that it covers her bush. It's my wife. I know she's fat 'cause she got more chin than China does. If she sits on me, I won't survive. It's my wife. When she sits around the house, she really sits around the house, you see. If she sits on me, I won't survive. It's my wife.
12:02 at 560 WQM. What do we got on the agenda today? We got Hank at 2 in the studio. Boog Shambi at 6 o'clock tonight, the formerly grotesque and gigantic and much slimmer Boog Shambi. We have 9:30. Oh, the Panthers and the Coyotes tonight, 9:30. Finally got a hockey game. Almost forgot about them. Nice schedule, Gary Bettman. And then after the game, it's ESPN Radio because Ed Kaplan ain't staying up that late. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. Our new poll, is it worth voting in this year's presidential election? Got 37 votes already. 30 said yes, and 7 said no. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
If you like the Gallus book, you got to get Molly Ivan's book on Bush about how he is in the pocket of big business. You'll love that book.
What's the name of it? You know?
I don't know the name of it, but it's by Molly Ivans, I-V-A-N-S.
Okay.
Her and another reporter they're both from Austin. They wrote this book about how, you notice when he answered the question what he was for, what he ran on, the first thing he said was port reform. Now, port reform is another oxymoron, according to Mr. Parker, for I'm in the pocket of big business.
Mm-hmm.
The powerful are going to, limit access to the courts, limit access to information. In fact, Orrin Hatch, Scalia loving Orrin Hatch, there was just a bill about Firestone introduced for all companies to be able to go into a central bank, and they have to give information and share information so that the general public, the little people, have rights to it. And it was blocked by Orrin Scalia Hatch.
Yeah.
Additionally, there's another bill regarding doctors, and there should be a national database for medical malpractice. It was blocked by the Republicans. The reason it's blocked is because the insurance companies don't want the little people to get the information.
Mm-hmm.
The little people it's big business, and also they have these seminars, these right-wing seminars for judges, that the judges can go for $5,000, $10,000. They lavish them with all kinds of interesting stuff. And what they have is speakers like Dobson and all these other people.
Now, they provide them with belt buckles and boots?
And belt buckles and boots and hunting equipment and everything else, and that's what Bush is for. He's for
Swiss Army knives.
He is. If you read that Molly Ivans book, and the one last thing, they had this special on Frontline the other day about how Gore and Bush grew up. They had Bush's cronies from Yale on his actual people he was with.
Mm-hmm.
They said Bush was akin to John Belushi in Animal House. That was his character.
Yeah.
He was Blutarsky. That's from his friends at Yale.
Uh-huh. Maybe that's why Dad keeps puking all the time.
Yeah, but he's definitely in the pocket of all. He's for the few and forget. He talks about the people versus the powerful. I'm for the people. That's absolute nonsense. Just read Molly Ivans' book.
Okay.
Thanks.
Jim Hightower, Texas populist and former agricultural commissioner, said about Bush. Oh, no, I see he said this about somebody else, but Paul Vigala said it about Bush. If ignorance is bliss, he's the happiest man in America. How do you like that? Let me say it again. This is Vigala's comment on Bush. If ignorance is bliss, he's the happiest man in America. But Bush's ignorance isn't funny. It could be enormously destabilizing. He has no idea who has their finger on the nuclear buttons and emerging nuclear powers. He has opposed sensible arms control treaties like the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty while supporting risky unilateral reductions in our own arms without demanding corresponding cuts from our adversaries. All because he still believes in the Star Wars fantasy that so far has only succeeded in destroying the budget. In the last analysis, you should ask yourself, can we really afford a president who thinks the G8 is one of the coordinates in battleship? There you go, and it goes on and on. And of course, like I said, if you're really undecided and really have an open mind, you'll read some of this stuff, and you'll say, oh, I don't think so, not for me. And if you have a closed mind and pretend to be on the fence and you're really just a bush licker, well, go ahead, lick all you can. Give me your licks. Thanks, Scott. There you go, Scott Proman, who's playing golf in Las Vegas. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But anyway, hey, listen, nobody's perfect, but I hope everything's okay. Everything all right? Alles good? Good, great. Everything's great, he said. Not just good, it's great. Alles great. So Atlantic City Subs brings us a beautiful lunch here today. Now, get out of here, Scott. Okay, where are we going? Let's go to Sunrise. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Listening to a lot of the calls that came in today, and if you notice, 90% of the people that call you are for Gore.
They are?
Well,
I don't think so. We have almost nobody for Gore. We have maybe 2 or 3 Gore people. The Bush people. No, I don't. You're wrong. Almost everybody that's called in about the debates has been a Bush man. Maybe 3 or 4 are the opposite.
Maybe I've been off, but this much
Way
I'm not off on. I watched the debate last night, and my brother and I were speaking, and we noticed every time that Gore started to get into it, he showed up Bush for what he really was.
Yeah.
And we said, let's make a bet. Let's see if the polls are going to reflect what's really happening, or if the so-called town hall thing, when they have Wolf Blitzer up there asking questions,
right,
are going to reflect what is actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
And if I noticed in this debate and the debate before that, that it doesn't seem to reflect what really happened.
No.
So,
well, the people in Warren, Michigan, though, it was unanimous. They all raised their hands and said they thought that Gore won the debate. The ones that were with Wolf or Blitzkrieg.
And then these immediate polls show otherwise.
No, well, showed what? They showed the one on CBS said that Gore won the debate 45-40. I mean, it was a lot closer than it should have been, but they said Gore won.
The debate.
Right.
Oh, okay. But in the polls, Bush is still leading.
Yeah, but that was there are no polls that I've seen that were taken after the debate.
I saw a CNN poll that shows that
that was before the debate. He was 3 points ahead, 47-44. That was before last night.
And I heard some.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you seriously. This is so close. I mean, it's not just a cliche, but this election is so close. You couldn't put a curly hair in between the two of them.
True. I'm quite scared, to be honest with you. I mean, I heard a couple callers say that, but people don't really realize how scary this really is. You know, because if he comes in, you might as well jump ship.
If he comes in, some of us are going out.
You know? Exactly.
I'll see you at the airport.
All right.
Bye-bye. And by the way, when we go to the airport, make sure they got some magazines and some food and crap, no matter what time of day it is. See, you folks have been so brainwashed in this town. You're willing to accept mediocrity in anything. Your newspapers suck. Your airport sucks. Your politicians suck. At least they're consistent. It's mind-boggling. Oh, no, you're wrong, Neil. This is a world-class city. Yeah. Give me a break. And, of course, thank God we got Mayor Pinga Picani in there to straighten out the scandal at the airport. I just love those letters to the editor, the ones like that. When the fact of the matter is that he was the one that put all those cronies in there to screw up the airport. Oh, but now he's having this investigation. He's going to straighten it all out. Just like the cops are having that internal investigation about that prostitution ring down there in Kendall and Hialeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're looking into it. They're looking deep into it.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
I wet my pants. Son, do you ever get that not-so-straight feeling? What? You know, when you're tired of that endless procession of babes coming back to your apartment after a night at the clubs looking for nothing but sex.
Well, I have often wondered what it would be like to wake up next to a big, strapping, hairy man, but I'm always so afraid of... You know.
Oh, boy.
You too?
No, from the makers of OB tampons, it's Oh Boy Suppositories.
The Oh Boy Suppository? How will that help?
Use your imagination, Timmy. It's a self-expanding suppository. Daily use of the Oh Boy is sure to alleviate your fears.
Wow. So if every day, then after time, I'll be ready to jump into, without fear of...
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
From the makers of OB.
You're gay.
Okay, 1214. At 560 WQM. The name of that book by Molly Ivins about George W. is Shrub. Or is it Schlub or Shrub? That'd be schlub. What's our total for Planned Parenthood so far? 27,780. Not bad. Pretty damn good considering our late start as usual. But they didn't go out today, huh? They weren't going out?
Not gonna.
Why not?
Got stuff to do around here, I guess. You know, important things.
Oh, like eat lunch? That's what we're doing right now. Thanks, Scott. And, of course, you can go to NeilRogers.com or WQAM.com. I guess that's why they didn't tell us before when they were going out with a QAM fan today where they were going, because they're not going. Or you can call Miguel's extension. Is he around today, or is it just the nephew in there all by himself? 305-650-0156. And you can order the CDs, cassettes, and keychains either off the website or by phone, or you can go to Specs and get the CDs and cassettes. Got it? Here's Miami Springs. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener.
All right.
Hey, I get aggravated every time I hear these people calling about Social Security and the stock market, and they say we're only getting 2% of their money and they can do better in the stock market. People don't realize, and I wish somebody would bring it up, it's an insurance policy. It's not an investment.
Right. Did the Gore mention that last night?
No, did he?
Yes.
I didn't watch it last night. And also, I'd like to ask these same people who want to invest our Social Security in the stock market, what rate of return do they get on their insurance policies, like their life insurance, their health insurance? And they'll find nothing. Because, and why don't they take their life insurance policies and invest in the stock market? But they won't do that.
Right.
But they want, the reason they want, you know, what's scary about
this whole concept of taking your retirement money would be like if Bush came out and said, I want you to take, we're going to give you back all your retirement money. We want you to go to Vegas, have a good time with it. We hope you make more than 2%, and if not, you're out of luck.
Yeah. You know what's scary, Neil? When is this country, have we ever worried about a problem that may occur 30 years from now? Never. We can't solve the problems today. But all of a sudden they want to solve a supposed Social Security problem 30 years from now. You know,
but in the meantime, thanks to Clinton and Gore, they've got it wrapped up for the next 30 years without having to worry about running out of it. And nobody has ever missed a Social Security check, nor is it likely that they ever will, because it's politically incorrect that it'll ever happen. So what are they talking about, like you said?
But you know what's scarier? You know what's behind this? The Heritage Foundation, the Cato Institute, and Wall Street. Now, are they concerned about our benefits or what? No?
You can hear them marching down the street.
Hey, Neil, one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Molly Alden's book is called Shrub, S-H-R-U-B.
Right.
The smart, but the short but happy life of George W. Bush.
Okay.
That's the full name.
I'm getting it today.
Okay, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Now, did he say short about George W. or short line?
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Our poll question, is it worth voting in this year's election? 128 people have thought it was worth voting on our poll. 104 said yes. Only 16 said no. No way, Jose. 16 people. See, I'll say it again. The young people, we can't be bothered. We like Ralph Nader anyway. He's our man. We want to be, we don't want to be like Mom and Dad. We want to be different. Yeah, we want to waste our vote. We want to show you what a bunch of smart Alex we are. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Loyal listener, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I got a couple of things I want you to comment on. First of all, I want to thank George for that wonderful show he done Monday. God bless him.
Friday.
Another thing is...
Thanks for a great show Monday, George.
Another thing I want you to touch up was on that fat lady, that trailer trash that she was talking about character. And lastly, I want you to, since you were talking about having special guests or whatever, how about the fisherman as a guest?
Yeah, that's an idea.
That would be a good rating. Anyway, Neil, listen. Good show and bless you.
Oh, God bless you.
And I'll tell you what.
And I'll pray for you.
Even Ray Charles, the blind man, knows that Gore won that debate yesterday.
Yeah.
Anybody who says otherwise...
You can almost smell it. Okay, amigo.
Okay.
See ya. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Thanks for the great show yesterday, George. Here's a lady in North Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Just want to make a couple of points.
Go right
With all
ahead.
due respect to all the mentally challenged people here in America, I look at Bush, and, I mean, the reason I think a lot of people...
I look at Bush and get physically ill.
identify
Sure,
with him is because they're as ignorant or more than he is. So they figure, hey, a moron like that can run for president. I'm with him. That's all I can think about it. And then there is no such a thing as an ex-alcoholic.
Right.
It doesn't exist.
Well, I've already said that 1,000 times, yes.
Right. Well, but a lot of people don't understand that. So
Well, why is it difficult to understand?
maybe they don't know.
They don't want to know.
They don't want to know.
These are the same people that were so upset because Bubba said that he once tried marijuana but didn't inhale. He had to make that line up to pacify them. But these people don't care that the man that they're supporting is an alcoholic.
Exactly.
And has a
God
substance
knows
abuse
when
problem.
Yeah, when he goes and posts for his victory, we're all in deep trouble.
Right.
That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's something that really makes me sick to my stomach as a Jewish atheist. Now, what was the name of that outfit that you said there were a bunch of right-wingers? Arthur, what? That had sent that fax about how they're going to be dancing.
Arthur Anderson?
Arthur Anderson, LLP, P standing for prick. Yeah. Anyway, Rabbi seeks designation from city. Here's an article in the Herald by Erika Bolstad. And she says, a Hallandale Beach rabbi has asked the city of Hollywood to designate part of Hollywood an Erev, a designation that eases some of the restrictions Orthodox Jews adhere to on the Sabbath.
Boy!
This is really important for Israel. It's really important for the development of the Jewish community, said Rabbi Liebel Miller, a ritual director for SCI Funeral Services. From sundown Friday until sundown Saturday, the devout are prohibited from 39 activities, including driving and using electricity. They're also forbidden from carrying any object between the private domain of one's home and the public domain. That restriction can be eased, Miller said, if a rabbi identifies an Erev around a community. It means mothers can carry children to Friday night services or push them in strollers. People can use wheelchairs and canes. Men can carry prayer shawls, prayer books on a house key, or a house key when they leave their home. And this is the thing, when I read this, I made my blood curdle. Hollywood already has one Erev established in 1985 around the Emerald Hills neighborhood near the synagogues on Sterling Road. The new Erev would include the southern part of the city and the beach, Miller said. Eventually it'll be part of a wider Erev encompassing parts of Aventura and Hallandale Beach, and before they get done, all of South Florida. Oh!
That would be easier, don't you think? To just start one
Don't you
across
think?
the county
Let
line.
me just read the line since you brought me my Freedom from Religion free thought today from September 2000. On the front page, a direct quote from John F. Kennedy, who said, I believe in an America where the separation of church and state is absolute, where no religious body seeks to impose its will directly or indirectly upon the general populace, where every man has the same right to attend or not attend the church of his choice. There is, I should cut that out, there is one of the great statements in the history of this country by a man who was elected in spite of the fact that he was Catholic, because he said he wouldn't be taking orders from the Pope, a silly old man in a silly old dress.
I take back all the terrible things I ever said about it.
The only reason you said about anything bad about Kennedy is because you're a professional Cuban and you're still holding that hostility about the Bay of Pigs.
What's your point?
My point is you're full of crap and an anti-Semite. I believe in an America where the separation of church and state is absolute, said JFK, where no religious body seeks to impose its will directly or indirectly upon a general populace, where every man has got the same right to attend or not attend the church of his choice. And wouldn't George W. have gotten along good with the old man Kennedy, huh? He could have supplied him all his moonshine. That's what we need in our sales department, like moonshine. Let's get him in here with Ellie Gray. What do you say, huh? No. And they want an Erev. See, the fact that they've already designated one, to me, I find grotesque and nauseating, and again, reinforces my feeling about Orthodox Jews. So you can call me a professional Jew all you want, but the fact is that I've consistently said you can't find anyone worse, more fanatical, more unacceptable than the Orthodox Jews. They make me nauseous. And the fact that they make their kids run around with their beanies on their head. See, the same folks are the ones who be screaming about, the pink triangles and the tattoos. Well, so why do you want to force your kids to run around with this identifying mark on their head, making them look like some kind of a freak so the kids can laugh at them?
Better than going to hell.
Like having a goddamn thing on your forehead. Oh, I'm a Jew. Like Jew Lieberman. See, I always thought that Jews didn't wear their religion on their sleeve. Real Jews. Not these make-believe Farbissen Jews, who are just every bit as bad as the Farbissen Goyim. Which goes to show you, like I've always said, religion is the root of all evil. All. A-W-L. All evil. Here's a call from Milwaukee. Hello.
Neil, how are you?
Okay, sir.
Hey, I've heard a lot of talk about, the big insurance companies and everything, and set any political views I have aside. I work for an insurance company, a big insurance company.
Yeah.
And our specialty is 2 to 50 lives, so the small group market. And I know a little bit about this, and I just want to kind of set the record straight, and I hate
Record straight about what?
Well, I hate the drug companies. They're killing us as a businessman. But they don't spend more on marketing than they do on research. That's an out and out untruth.
Right.
By Gore.
Right, that's correct.
And I've got plenty of facts to back that up.
Right, you don't have to back it up. It's already in the newspaper this morning. It's another one. He can't help himself. He keeps blurting out this crap.
Right. And another thing about Texas.
But the fact is that the pharmaceutical companies are the fourth largest contributor to Bush's campaign.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. It's big business.
Yeah.
But something about Texas, that's probably our biggest market. And it is not legislatively for us, regulation-wise, it is not an easy market to do business in. They're incredibly difficult on us. They mandate a lot of coverages that other states don't.
Well, you can be sure that's not because of him.
A lot has happened in the last few years since he went into office, and it's just getting tougher and tougher. And their coverage of children, you mentioned last night about their Patients' Bill of Rights. That's incredibly difficult, and we're not an HMO.
Is that why they're 49th in the health care for children and 50th in health care for women in Texas?
Part of the problem there is the common border with Mexico, because all the kids that come right over the border. We spend so much money on covering the kids down there, probably more than any other state.
So that must also be why Texas is number one in executions and number one in air pollution, because the Mexicans are bringing the crime and the pollution across the border?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it sounds like there's an excuse for every major problem that they have in the state of Texas, and why they're a day late and a dollar short in almost every category.
Yeah, but you can spin the numbers about any state. I mean, you can find plenty of problems.
No, it's not spinning a number to say that you're 49th and 50th in health care. That's not spinning a number. That's a fact.
I'd love to see what it was under the previous administration of that communist Ann Richards.
Oh, that communist Ann Richards. Did you hear that? We finally, see, I love it. When you leave these people on long enough, you finally get, and of course he was from Milwaukee, so have another one. That communist Ann Richards. Oh, my God. 26th afternoon at 560 WQM.
Backward can't keep his pecker in his pants. This is a story of a girl who got lucky. And a nickel, hit the jackpot. She got it all. While his body rocks, she can smile. It's what she was waiting for. And now she is so wealthy, this former guest. That's because she's so lucky. My grandpa, and he died. Not because it always was thinking, if I had to do that old stuff, I deserve 450 mil.
1232 at 560 WQAM. 27,780 for our fundraiser this year for Planned Parenthood of South Palm Beach and Broward counties. Our CDs and cassettes, all those spec stores all over town, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Naples, Fort Myers. Go pick up 20 or 30 of them today. And you get the keychains by ordering either by the phone, 305-650-0156, 305-650-0156, or on the internet, WQAM.com, NeilRogers.com. How's that poll coming, Neil? I'm so glad you asked. Is it worth voting in this year's election? 151 said yes, only 22 said no. And the 22 who said no, I'm glad they said no. In fact, many of the people who called today, see, this last guy, any woman, any female Democrat, Maxine Waters, Ann Richards, communist. I love those people. These right-wing lunatics. And this guy calls all the way from Milwaukee. He must have the fat on this show confused with the fat on that other show, the Lard-Ass Limbaugh show. Call Lard-Ass up. He'll love hearing your crap about that communist Ann Richards. You're a crazy person, sir. You're a lunatic. Too much of that goddamn bad cheap beer in Milwaukee. That's what happened to Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, see, he's talking about fags again. Here's Hallandale. Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening to all the rhetoric and all that. Now, I'm not voting for either one of them, but I'm going to say something.
You're not voting for either one of them? What does that mean?
Well, that means that I think both of them are the biggest liars on the face of the earth, and I think Al Gore is a bigger liar than Bush.
Uh-huh.
And Mario Cuomo,
Mario what?
You know Mario Cuomo or Coomer.
Mario Cuomo, yeah.
Yeah, he was on the other.
I'm not voting for Hillary Cuomo.
Larry King, one of them.
Crap. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, well, they asked him about the top 5% who have prospered like hell, and the other 135 million here who don't know what you're talking about when you say great prosperity. He was telling them the truth too. Now, the average wage when Bill Clinton came in office was $12.50 an hour.
Yeah.
That was 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's now $13.80 an hour.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, sir. You have.
Well, let me ask you something. Who is it that, you asshole? I'm not even going to waste my time asking who is it that consistently opposes increasing the minimum wage. Screaming hysteria. And you know something? Whatever you're making, it's too much. It far outstrips your IQ. After talking with you for about a minute and a half, it's obvious to me that if you're not scraping by, because we're doing pretty damn well here. George is scraping by. He's not making a fortune, but he's doing better than he was 8 years ago. Yeah. I'm doing a little bit better than I was 8 years ago. I would be doing a lot better, except the church keeps losing all my money. But other than that, I'm still doing okay. But just keep making it up as you go along, pal. Just keep making it up. And that's not what Muriel Cuomo said, because I saw it with my own 2 eyes and heard it with my own 4 ears. So don't feed me a pile of garbage. Ann Richards has got more intelligence in the last knuckle of one finger than W has got in his entire pathetic body. That communist Ann Richards. Yeah. Here's Boca. Hello.
Yeah, like George Bush.
Okay, wait. George Bush. This guy's got 14 pounds of elephant dung in his mouth, and he thinks we don't recognize the phony. See, this is great. I love it. You want to know why? You notice, just like the poll that we took that they felt compelled to screw around with, even though we'd always seen the result? This to me smacks of desperation. And so we're getting inundated here today with a bunch of these bushlickers, and each one is dumber and more obnoxious and more ridiculous than the previous one. This should be a good omen to the rest of us, because it shows me just how desperate you are. And, and I don't want to sound too paranoid, but it sure was strange timing about that mysterious plane crash of Governor Carnahan in Missouri the night before the debate, and just on the heels of the election, the Senate election there, that he was running for Senate, and was like within a point of Senator John Ashcroft, and that was obviously going to win because he's running against a dead man because it's too close to election time. They can't take Carnahan's name off the ballot. I don't want to sound, conspiratorial. I wouldn't do that. I mean, just like Kennedy, if he wouldn't have just backed his head into those bullets. Here's the mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, the old saying in life goes, never say never. So I told myself 12 years ago that I would never see a dumber politician than Dan Quayle, but after last night, I stand corrected. I truly do.
He's frighteningly dumb.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. Listen, can I get off the debate for a second?
Anything you like, sir. This is America, baby. Anything you want. As long as I like it.
Hey, listen, did you see, I know this is late, but did you see 60 Minutes back on Sunday?
No.
Okay, there was a part they had on, Mike Walsh was interviewing the head military guy in Pakistan, and I swear he honestly said this. He says, we're not like, and I want to thank all the crooked politicians in Miami for elevating our status as a banana republic now that we've gone global. He says, I want to thank, unlike certain places in the world, we are not a banana republic. And I almost fell off my chair when he said that, referring to Miami. I'm pretty sure he was referring to us down here. But Mike Walsh started to him, well, sir, you overthrew a democratically elected government, and now you are not democratic. He said, well, sir, we are in a way democratic, unlike a certain banana republic that exists somewhere else in the world. And that just threw me off for a loop. I said, there you go again. It never ceases to amaze me.
All you gotta do is look out the window. You can smell it.
And listen, by the way, I don't know if George brought up his ass today, but I'm trying to explain to him. He's telling me that bit you have about, he's a short, funny kind of guy. He says he took it off Fargo himself, and I said, okay, that might be true, but I'm 99% sure, and you can ask Boogie if you don't believe me, that Bill Murray also said that in Caddyshack when Chevy Chase was trying to ask him, was he hunting down, and he said, go for it.
But that's not Bill Murray, though. Wait a minute, listen to it. It's not Bill Murray. Wait, listen.
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
No, that's not Bill Murray.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure you can ask Boogie to double check, because when hearing Chris Moron at their show, they were playing that little bit at the starting of the show, just like you.
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
Okay, calm down.
Listen, Joe, One last thing, Neil. I called the airport, MIA, November 8th, the first flight leading out is to Amsterdam at 8 o'clock, and the flight number is 666. I'm out of here.
Okay. See, he redeemed himself there right at the end.
I mean, I ought to know where I put the drop from.
It sounded like Catherine Murray to me. Come on. Maybe was it Jan Murray? Maybe it was Murray the K. You think it was Murray the K? Might have been. Ask Book O'Brien. He'll tell you. 21 till 1 at 560 WQ.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
It's just these guys, Nick and Stubbs and whatever the heck it is, and the people that call in, they're just like them, like that they're on the, the weeds, and they're high, and I mean, it's terrible. For years that I've been listening to 610 and this here.
Now, from Washington, the McLaughlin Group, featuring Eleanor Cliff, Jack Jamond, and sitting in for Pat Buchanan, New York Giant Tiki Barber. Now, here's John McLaughlin. Issue 1, George W. Rings or vault? Eleanor Cliff.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jack Jamond.
Well, that's not an easy choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber. I'm going to have to say the vault. Wrong! Actual answer, floor exercise.
That wasn't even a choice.
Next issue, Al Gore. Favorite Broadway show. Bring in the noise, bring in the funk, or Cats. Eleanor G, I think you're swelling off.
Well, John, I'd have to say.
Wrong! Jackie, Big Jamon.
Well, that's a very difficult choice.
Wrong! Tiki Barber. I'm going to have to say Ren. Not a choice, Ricky Tiki Barber. You gave an answer last time that wasn't a choice. Wrong! Correct response, Cats. He loves them. Next issue, the cast of Big Brother should be murdered. How? Eleanor.
Guillotine.
Wrong! Jack Jamon.
Dynamite.
Wrong! Tiki Barber.
I don't think they should be killed.
Wrong! Actual answer, poison pudding. Bye-bye.
Bye. Now, see, there's a likable fascist. I mean, he's funny. He's a real Nazi, but he's funny. He's parlayed his fascism into entertainment now, John McLaughlin. They say Hermann Goering was fun at a party, too. 567-0560, pound 560 on the 8.
You might mention my name to Vice Marshal Goering.
T-Wireless line, and Verizon, and etc. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. I wanted also to say that I believe Gore definitely won the election.
The election? Was the election over? Thank God.
I meant the debate.
I'm relieved now.
But he also, it is important that everybody vote in this election. And I was glad that that Milwaukee insurance agent brought up about the Texas Patients' Bill of Rights. That went into law without George Bush's signature.
Well, didn't you hear what he said at the end? I mean, there was no credibility to anything that he said when he came up with that line about that communist Ann Richards. I mean, why would you believe anything that man said?
I know. It's, definitely, he's not in favor of Patients' Bill of Rights. Mm-hmm. He does not sign a law in his own state. He left it, go into law without his signature. And, and I thought there at the end when he was raising his right hand, I thought maybe he was taking the Boy Scout oath.
That might be it. He had, that one ad that he's got where he's standing in front of that picture, the pictures of a Boy Scout.
Yeah,
in the back. A little subliminal message there.
Yep, subliminal.
Yeah, okay.
And sometimes I think he has a problem with S's at the end of words, like interest.
Yeah, well, don't forget, there's 2 S's in asshole, so we better get with it. Have a great day, pal.
You too.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Yeah, that Ann Richards, she's a communist. Next thing you know, she'll be marrying Ted Turner after he ditches Hanoi Jane. I'm serious. Why don't you get some guests together? What day you want to do the show? Bilderbergers, Trilateral Commission, the Illuminati. Or go over like Holocaust.
I got much room in here.
I'm serious. Why don't you have them out in the hallway? There's usually a lot of screaming and yelling going on out there anyway. Here's Key West. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Neil, what is where can I get the book, Is Our Children Learning?
Probably in a bookstore, sir. Like Barnes & Noble or Borders or one of those. Any bookstore. 56705.
You could maybe give him a lift.
Why, has he got bad shoes?
Right out front.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. If you're under the age of 100, we would be delighted to speak to you. If you're over the age of 100, no way, Jose. Do not call. Do not pass go. Do not pass gas. Stay out of my life. Stay out of my way. And don't build an arrow in my neighborhood, okay? I mean, what are you crazy Orthodox Yidlachs talking about? To have a special designation, and they already have one around Emerald Hills because it's mostly Jews? And evidently, whoever wrote this article, Erica Bolstad, doesn't know anything about the separation of church and state. Because there's nothing in it, there's not even a vague reference to that in here. For Orthodox Jewish families who observe the tenets of the Sabbath with precision, it's an important concept that dates back to ancient times. Too bad! If you want to observe ancient times, then go to Israel. Go over there with all those farbissen, with all those outfits that they're wearing, rocking back and forth. And you notice that one thing you'll discover, which I'm sure you didn't have any of this conversation, although many of the Israeli Jews now are talking about how embarrassed they are by the actions of their own people. Have you seen that on the news?
We discussed that, but it's very
And they say that this is not what being Jewish is all about, and these farbissen are lunatics with their taluses and their schmatters on. This isn't what we believe in or what we're all about.
They're very split.
And the burning of people to death and the killing of Palestinian children isn't making us feel any better about life?
Yes.
Yes.
We did discuss that.
So you see, if you want to be one of those people, Rabbi, whatever your name is, Miller, then go over there. This planes leaving El Al has got planes, good security too. Planes leaving every hour on the hour. We'll pack you a salami sandwich. Kosher, of course. Put something trafe in it.
Boy!
Here's a lady in Margate. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
You're doing a good job.
Yes, I am.
I'm glad you're intelligent, so you can talk to these Republicans.
So I can talk to all these brilliant rocket scientists.
The thing is, I wouldn't trust George Bush as far as I could throw him, because his party and just a few years back tried to use the Social Security Trust Fund to balance the budget, and Hatfield lost his job. He was the only Republican that voted against it, and right away he was out of a job. But at that time, the Social Security Trust Fund had $69 billion more it was taking in than what it was spending.
Yeah.
So it's a secure program, and it's probably one of the few programs that work.
That he ought to keep his hands off of.
Right. Okay, Neil.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Neil.
See ya.
Bye.
Vote 3 or 4 times, don't forget. See, that's why he nervously said that at the end of it. If you're for my opponent, don't vote more than once. Because he knows the rest of us are going to vote 3 or 4 times just to make sure, just to be on the safe side. And there's George P. Bush. There's the third generation, or the fourth generation now. Whatever the hell it is. Oh, yeah, well, the contribution was really tremendous. And the young people are going to come out in record-breaking numbers. And there's Bernie Shaw sitting there like some kind of a bozo, or maybe it was the other one. What's your name? Judy Woodruff. And, oh, yeah, well, that's a good point, yeah. Oh, no, it was Bernie Shaw, who's supposed to be this hard-bitten news guy. And he says, well, I think you guys in the media have done a good job of bringing out the... Oh, thank you. Thank you. He has to thank this little punk that was also born with a goddamn golden spoon up his ass. Now, which half have we figured out which half is Mexican and which half is All-American?
I think it's like one of those shoes.
Because after seeing him last night, I'm not interested in exploring anymore. At one time, a couple of years ago. Talk about it. He's got that syndrome, That unfortunately good-looking young guy, sooner or later it hits them and they wake up one day and they got that ugly stick just right in the middle of the night. What happened? Look in the mirror. Jesus Christ. Jason Gedrick syndrome. Yeah. Look for now. In fact, Jason Gedrick, now he's a mafia hitman or whatever. Mafia Don. Anybody believe in that? Oh, and guess who my therapist over there, my Louise, guess who she treated, who was here in town one time some years back, not that far back? Johnny Depp. No, they're getting warmer. Jewish, so you wouldn't like him. Robbie Benson. Oh, speaking of Texas, I like Robbie Benson. Oh, well, you didn't know he was Jewish. His father was a rabbi in Texas. You did know it. But at any rate, Robbie Benson, who was, he had fallen or something like that, and also had a couple of heart attacks and all kinds of horrible things happened to him. But she said he was a real sweetheart. He was really nice. He has a wife. Carla DeVito. In the garden of what? Here's the mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hi, man.
In the garden of DeVito, yes, sir?
Yeah, I guess anybody could say that Bush won that debate. That's unbelievable, man.
I know, it's scary.
I mean, the guy
it's almost as scary as he is.
Yeah, he was thumping the fumbling all around the place, and they couldn't.
From the very beginning, when he tried to express his sympathies for the governor and his family that had died in a plane crash, and the people on the coal, he didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah. He was fumbling and fumfing, and the people that died today, last night, whenever, those people, those dead people, I feel bad. That was good. That was real classy.
I think I have an answer as to why the poll showed that.
Why is that? What could that possibly be?
I think they took the poll over near the Gonzalez family compound in Hialeah.
Oh, that might be it.
Okay, have a good day.
Okay. What are you laughing about? Because it's not in Hialeah? They don't live in Hialeah.
No.
Where do they live now, as a matter of fact? Well, let's find out. Let's go camp out there and see if we can stir something up again, because this election stuff's getting pretty boring.
You first.
Oh, the audience says, is it worth... Thank you, Cuban toothless people. Thank you again. In case you missed my thank you the first time, because you were pissed off at me. Thank you for several months of tremendous entertainment and real hysteria in this town, because otherwise nothing was going on. The NASDAQ's up 22 points. Yeah! The Dow's down 110, but that's better than 438. I mean, when you look at the prices of these stocks, I'm not trying to, suck anybody out there to buy in stocks like Nokia, like that, for example, or Xerox, or AOL, or Citigroup. I'm not trying to give you a subliminal message, but I'm just telling you, you look at these prices, and you say, wow, I better scoop up a bunch of that right now at these low bargain prices. Motorola, 21 and a quarter. Can you believe that? 21 and a quarter. But Nokia is a much better buy. Believe me, 28.5 bucks. $56 a share I paid for my Nokia, and we thought it was a bargain then. But this is going to be a $100 stock. That's what they were all talking about. And let me also give you some advice for all you people out there that want to invest your money, including you idiots that want us to invest our Social Security money. You should only live so long. All these experts on there, just like this bozo they got on there right now. But they haven't got a freaking clue. And if they did, they wouldn't be wasting their time on television. Just like Hank said about all those touts we got, those spots running on here. If those guys were such great gamblers, they wouldn't be wasting their time buying spots to suck all you unsuspecting fools out there into gambling with them. They'd be multimillionaires. They'd be sitting back owning their own damn city. They'd build their own damn condo, their own casino. Whatever the hell it is. Oh, no, I had 7 out of 10. Yeah, right. A sucker is born every minute. And that's what the stock market's all about, for suckers. So if you want to take your retirement money, if you want to take all the money you've ever earned in your life and hand it over to some puny Jew like Mitch Hirsch, go right ahead. You go ahead. I already did. Too late for me. I'm stuck. I'm in so deep I'm up to my earlobes. I'm up to my goddamn eyebrows. I'm drowning in a sea of red ink on the balance sheet. But it's only on paper, you do understand. I'm in for the long haul. Yeah. Just like James Woods in the movie Once Upon a Time in America when they took him away in a garbage machine. He was in for the long haul, that garbage truck. You could see those zips popping right off the back. That'd be a good poll one day. Who's got the worst complexion? James Woods, Wayne Hypinga? Who's somebody else with a bad complexion? With real bad zips.
Vocal? Could be anybody?
No, anybody. Somebody with real bad crater zips. Well, we'll think about it.
Oh, yeah, Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams? Yeah, but he's not in the same category with James Woods and Wayne Hypinga.
As far as his complexion?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nasty.
Oh, and also the kid who just came out of the closet, too, which just shocks me, that played the Superman on Lois and Clark. Who looks
Dean Cain?
Huh?
The TV Superman guy?
Yeah.
Dean Cain?
Yeah.
Came out of the closet?
Well, I mean, not really.
He popped Brooks Cherry. Brooke Shields, is what I heard.
Brooke Shields? Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, wasn't she going with Michael Jackson?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. See, I know George shaves like most of us adult men, but the word beard ought to be in your vocabulary, okay? Beard. Yeah, he popped her cherry. It was on top of her hot-fed Sunday. You ought to see what was on top of her Monday. 12:57 at 560. I think it might have been Hillary, if you ask me.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station. WQAM.com for the world.
It's the 1 to 2 hour.
We want to go now to your closing statements. Governor Bush is first.
Thank you, Jim. What I care about is failure. And you know what? It can happen in America with the right kind of leadership. Surely this nation can come together to encourage doctors to take the lives of our seniors.
Can I comment on that? I would sign a law banning that procedure.
if I'm entrusted with the presidency, here are the choices that I will make. I'll cut health care, prescription drugs, education, and national defense, put our budget into deficit, raise interest rates, and put our
I can't let the man continue.
I believe that Governor Bush is a national asset. Correct, but
that's just totally false. Wait a minute, it's just totally false. For him to stand up here and say that.
Thank you, Governor Bush. Vice President Gore.
Well, thank you, Jim Lerner, for all those really brilliant questions you selected from the real good ones that were in there.
Yeah, Governor Bush, I'd like to ask, what are you going to do about parents?
And I will say this, that was his best answer of the night, because she was a moron. She was dumber than he was. About parents that won't take an interest in their kids' education. He said, well, I wish I knew what law that was. Then, of course, when they got to affirmative action, he gave the same, I wish I knew what law that was. No matter what they, well, it was his, he memorized that line. What about civil rights? I wish I knew what law that was. What about the Brady Bill? I wish I knew what law that was. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. 210 people say it's worth voting in this year's election. Only 36 say
no.
No. Hialeah Gardens, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
In that debate last night, I don't know if you saw it or not.
I saw the entire thing, from every second.
1 second of it, or one little snippet of it, is when Jim Lerner said something to George as to stop him, and George sort of like looked at him and ducked. And it was just such a weird thing for someone to do. I mean, not what you would think a polished leader would do. It's something like a good old boy standing around a thing drinking beer would say, "Oh, you talking to me?" And he looks. That's his whole thing. Is ducking.
Yeah, he's like a good old bumpkin. That's his basic.
It was ludicrous. I mean, can you imagine him in the halls of power throughout the world conducting himself with that little smear? And
no, I can't even see him in the licking bedroom.
By the way, I'm the American Airlines baggage guy that did something last year about baggage and stuff. You hate American Airlines. I mean, I do at least.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Like poison.
Well, have a great day, and I know where I'm voting. I'm going to vote often, too.
Several times, okay.
For Mr. Gore.
And watch out for the hand grenades.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Bye.
American Airlines, baby. It's the only airline in the world that gives you free hand grenades right in your overhead there. Just reach up and grab a couple. Fine, let me say again. National Airlines, the best. I love National Airlines. What a shame that all those nephrologists who were up there in Toronto taking up my hotel rooms. Because I could have flown National Airlines at some future time when I wouldn't have had such bad luck. And it wasn't just me. Oh, well, you play those stupid slot machines and that roulette crap. Well, let me just say this to you. Everybody else I talked to who was there, well, except for Scott, because he was busy playing golf. But like Defoe and his crowd and his boyfriend, Paulie the drunk man, or whatever that guy's name is, St. Paulie girl, they all lost their ass. See, I respect that. At least Befo's got, he may be kind of a slovenly, drunken or whatever, but at least he's got the balls to admit he lost his ass, One thing that just makes me sick to my stomach is all these snotty, snooty, every bet they ever made in their life, they cashed. If they cashed every bet they ever made in their life, what are they busy talking to us about, like I said before? If they're such experts. I mean, if you could gamble every day of your life and have a great time and guaranteed you'd never lose because you were so smart or lucky or both, why the hell would you be working your ass off? With some con job, with some scam. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
A couple of quick things, and then we'll get to the debate. Redford has bad zits.
Does he?
Oh, God, yeah. Terrible. They always cover it up with a lot of makeup.
Good.
CNN time poll, right after the debate, they did a quick, or maybe a half an hour later, showed Gore ahead by 2 points, and that was the point.
Ahead by 2 points in what? You mean
they showed Gore in the election, not in the debate. They showed Gore making up all that, the 8 points.
So that, 6 points. No. He was down 3 before the debate in the CNN poll.
2.
So he had 5 points in one night.
Right. And on top of that, that's the point. How can they possibly... Look, I used to think that the dumbest people in the world were the people that are on Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
Not the people that watch, the people that are on. Now, the dumbest people in the world are these citizen panels that they had, Wolf Blitzer and whoever moderated on the other channels. Because I'm looking at
but wait a minute. You got to understand, that's mainstream America. I know it's terrifying to hear that, but that's middle America for you there. That's what you got.
Thing. Look, you live in a country where the 3 biggest TV shows over the last few years are Who Wants to Be a Stupid Millionaire?
Right.
Okay. Stupid Survivor.
And Jerry Springer.
Right. So what does anybody expect? And the guy that called earlier had it right. everybody's been trying to figure out, the people that know better are trying to figure out, am I watching something and I'm not understanding what's happening? No, a guy called, last hour, and it's the bottom line that there are too many people in this country who are idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And they understand Bush's no specific answer as opposed to what's really happening. I give you one final thought, just like this previous caller said from American Airlines. Just think of George Bush in his summit meeting, and that's all you got to think about.
Okay.
Thanks.
If you can find a way to get there. That's to point it out on the map. Thank you, sir. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I sat down here at 10 this morning, and I just looked around, and the phone was almost vacant. And I wondered to myself, what is with these people? I mean, where is your brain? What is your mind working on this moment? And now all of a sudden we've been flooded with calls. Now that guy was good. We had, about a half a dozen really good calls in the last 3 hours? And then we've had a lot of that. But now I begin to understand why the desperation. See, I didn't get it before, why there's so much desperation from the Bush people. But if just last night's debate made a quick 5-point change in the CNN time poll, which of course is the Gallup, does the CNN end of it, which we know how slanted they are, then that means that maybe things ain't looking all so rosy today. After what truly was an embarrassing performance. See, they never want to say that to talking heads. Although, Dan Rather, what were you watching it? On CNN?
No, CBS.
Did you hear Rather's comments when it was over about the comments?
Yes.
He's just phenomenal. He's just great. He's the only one that will scrape away all the veneer and all the plastic and all the BS and tell you exactly what you saw, Call it like it is. Like his comment after the second debate about there should have been a warning sign about do not drive or operate heavy machinery after watching this debate. Yeah, nice going. He's the only one, and I guess he can afford to do it because he's been there a hell of a long time and he's not going anywhere till he's ready. What's the frequency, Kenneth? Nice going, Dan. Well, he's probably a communist like Ann Richards because they're both from Texas. 9 minutes after 1 at 560 WQAM.
Father, you're up and all over, boy. I'm a Catholic.
Well, congratulations. Get a life.
They call it a vasectomy when they do the friend of yours. Slice right here, touch there, no more going to that lamar. That's all the thing you'll get at them when they do the friend of yours. You'll be able to pick up a lot of things. Think of all the condom money you will save. Give me a shave. Top here, top hair, and the sample feels just like yours. If you play Shuru, then it's when they do the best friend of yours.
114 at 560 WQM. Happy Wednesday to you. We got the Hank Goldberg Show coming up at 2. 268 votes on our second poll of the day. Is it worth voting in this year's election? 229 say yes, 39 say no. Not worth their effort. They'd rather stay at home and pick a winner. Here's the mobile in Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hi, Neil. I'm a pharmacist working out in Pembroke Pines today.
Right.
And I heard that gentleman make a comment about Gore's remark last night about the direct advertising to the consumers.
Right. You mean like the commie hunter from Milwaukee?
Yeah, the commie hunter from Milwaukee. Well, just to slightly adjust what he said, there was an article I read about a month or two ago. I think it was in Pharmacy Times Magazine. And what they said is the current trend by the end of this upcoming calendar year, the end of the year 2000, there will pretty much be an even split between what drug companies spend on development of new drugs and also on direct advertising to the consumers. So Gore was not over-exaggerating or stretching the truth. He was taking a legitimate fact as he sees it at this particular point in time. There was nothing wrong with what he said as opposed to the things they picked on him about last week. And one other thing about the drug companies, there's also, this is also a fact. Last year there was an article that came out in one of the other magazines, and I also saw it in, I believe it was the New York Times. Over the last 5 years, they looked at all the drugs that have gotten passed by the FDA. Only 9% of all of those drugs have to do with new and inventive things like new age drugs or that sort of thing. 91% are considered copycat drugs. And what that means is the drug companies just want a piece of the pie to help to line their pockets. So when they say they need all this extra money in order to develop new drugs, in their perspective, kind of stretching the truth to a large degree also.
Yeah, not to mention the NIH money the guy called about before, plus the fact, Gore hit it right on the head last night about the generic drugs, finding the best generic drugs and bringing the price way, way down, which, of course, the pharmaceutical companies are all against because it's going to cost them billions of dollars in profits.
Oh, you bet. I mean, when I see a person come in with, say, a drug for cholesterol and a drug for high blood pressure and something else, and I know the person is a senior citizen on a fixed income,
right,
and I have to charge them $300 for it, I just about want to cry because I know they're making that choice, and I know it's the catchphrase now. They have to choose between eating or paying for their drugs.
Right.
But that's a whole lot more legitimate than people think.
Right.
So, I mean, if you want to vote for no other reason, it's like Bush says that his program will help to provide coverage for seniors in 4 years, and Gore says next year. Well, we need to do it this year or next year. It's got to be done right away.
Right.
So if people can't figure out who to vote for, just look at that and think of your parents, having to choose between taking their medication the way the doctor prescribed or having to cheat on it or having to skip meals in order to afford their drugs. That's just deplorable.
Right.
And
okay, my friend, watch out for those commies.
Oh, you betcha.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye. Yeah, I mean, twice in the debate last night, Gore did a really good thing, and he in the early part and then later on toward the end when he said, if you're in favor of, and then he talked about, high prices for prescription drugs, and he went on through the whole, then this is your man. And he did a real effective job on that. And he was right. And there was no response to it. There was no defense to it, except that bit of whining and hiding under Jim Lehrer's armpit. Oh, yeah, well, you see these debating tactics and making the attacks on you. It's so juvenile. Making attacks on the opponent. That's what a debate's all about, a difference of opinion. He wasn't making personal attacks. He never said you robbed a freight train. He never said you were a cheap drunk or that you probably never went to school or you missed a goddamn year in the National Guard, never showed up in Alabama, which it wouldn't have been a personal attack because it all would have been true, but he spared you that embarrassment. But to talk about issues, this man can't do it. It's always the same glittering generalities about, he worked on a bipartisan way and he's going to get it done and yada yada. Yeah, he's going to get it done all right. For big tobacco, big oil, the big pharmaceutical companies, the religious right, and anybody else that most of us can't stand. That's who he's going to get it done for. Because if he gets in, a lot of us are done for. Including you, George. He don't like illegal aliens. He's sick of those Mexicans. Except his grandson, or his nephew, whatever he is. Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Nice call.
All right, there's a good call from Hialeah. One of your people. Send him over to see Yasser Arafat. Maybe they can take a bath together. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's Davey. Hello.
Classic stuff.
Uh-huh.
Hey, by the way, you still taking candidates for your bad complexion?
Yeah, we'll take that poll. Maybe tomorrow we'll do that one.
You left out the most obvious one. You even coined a phrase for it. Davey Johnson.
Davey Johnson? That's right. I forgot all about him since he got canned.
Right.
See, George is not Dave Johnson, our friend, the racing
No.
The former manager of the Dodgers up until a few days ago, and good point.
There you go. And tied into that, of course, is the baseball issue, which is I don't know, for some reason the Gore campaign refuses to bring to light. I don't know why they won't bring the facts forward that George W. Bush had his father's friends help him purchase the Texas Rangers.
Right.
And then at taxpayer expense, had the Arlington Stadium built,
right?
That new Texas Stadium, which of course quadrupled or quintupled the value of the team,
investment for $14.9 million.
None of which, and people hate building stadiums. Look right here. This is a guy who basically went before the public and had the public build him a stadium, reaped the benefits, sold the team, and now he's a multimillionaire, which, by the way, is his primary source of income.
Correct.
Because apparently prior to that, he'd been a failure in a number of businesses.
Mm-hmm. Every business.
But for some reason, they will not publicize that time. Now, why not do that yesterday?
And don't forget, we're such an astute baseball man, he traded Sammy Sosa. Just for the frosting on the cake.
People are just, I think, either tired of Clinton and associate Gore with him, or they're...
Yeah, but that's not true, because Clinton has still got unbelievable approval ratings. He's got like 65% approval rating.
I tend to believe that, but maybe in the privacy of their own homes, they just are feeling that there's some kind of resentment that they won't bring forward. I can't explain it. Neil, how can you explain peace and prosperity and this guy in the dead heat with this guy?
I know. Gore should be 25, 30 points ahead.
Now, he's run a bad campaign, and he's had 3 separate campaign managers at the very least, and he's had difficulty finding traction, but the problem is...
Well, it took him 6 months to find a personality. That was the problem.
He doesn't have one, but so what? We're not electing a guy to go on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, but you're forgetting we're in the age of television now. That's what you got to do. You got to schmaltz it up like Drew Lieberman on there thinking I did it my way on Conan O'Brien.
Well, the problem is that at this point you've got 3 weeks to go, and we're running out of time.
Vote about 4 times. I'll try 5 or 6.
Take care. I'm voting for Davy Johnson.
Okay.
Bye.
He's voting for Davy Johnson. Who was the other one you had in there?
Edward James Olmos.
Oh, Edward James almost good enough to be on the list.
Face.
Edward James Olmos, who gives me the creeps. Oh, you shouldn't say that. And who's the other one you said? Brian Adams?
Yeah. Bad.
From Channel 6? 7? No, I know, Brian Adams, okay, with a bad complexion. I know all about it. I don't like his music either. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. He ain't no Nick Lachey, whatever his name is, whose brother Drew got married. You see that in the paper today? Drew got married. Nick, of course, is still going with that Jessica. Yeah, well, she's holding it back. She's waiting until they're both about 40, and then she'll think about taking a look at it. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil. First time caller.
All right.
You had a bit on a little while ago. Somebody said there was Bill Murray. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Actually, that's from a movie called Fargo. I was just watching it.
I tried to tell that to George, and he insists it's Bill Murray.
Oh, he's a little guy, kind of funny looking.
Yeah, that's from Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one more thing. Vote Bush.
Yeah.
Bye.
Push this. 56705. See, it's one of your people. He says vote Bush, and he's a Fargo man. I tried to tell you that. Oh, no, you're wrong. It's Bill Murray. It's from Meatballs. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Yeah, vote Bush. There's one of our young geniuses out there. You're a real rocket scientist, baby. You got too much Bush on the brain. That's what that stuff will do to you. A little Bush, like I've told you for years. Okay, I guess, if that's your thing. But too much Bush, dangerous. Here's a mobile in Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Buenos dias.
First of all, you do a great Joe Lieberman.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to start picking on a fine Jewish senator from Connecticut because it's we want to be more civilized in our debate.
Excellent. Well, I went to vote yesterday.
Yes.
And there was this young kid in front of me, of color, as one might say.
Voter, yes.
And he went to change his political party to Democrat, and he's voting for Gore. Probably because he heard it from you.
Well, what was he doing being a Republican in the first place? A Schwarzer who was a Republican that thought Jews for Hitler. What the hell is that all about?
And intended
That's like Cubans for Castro.
Anyways, I'm heading to Vegas next week, and then from there I go to Australia for 3 weeks. So if Bush is in, I'll see you in 4 years.
We'll see you in Bush country.
All right.
Okay, good luck.
Bye.
He's going to Bush country, which is going to be Australia, because this is going to be Gore country. We're electing Gore Vidal. Oh, yeah, faggot. Likely story. 5670560, pound 560. Oh, I forgot to ask him what airline he was flying to Vegas. Hopefully National Airlines. I'm telling you, seriously, we had a tremendous experience. This was about the only trip that I've taken in recent memory where the good experience was with the airline in the air, and not when I got to where I was going. You understand? Usually the pain in the ass is the traveling to get their part, and when you get there you have a great time. In this case, it was just the opposite. Oh, you hear Neely was ripping Vegas the other day? No, I wasn't ripping Vegas. I just said I was a little burnt out for a couple of days. Now I'm ready to go back. George is going to turn over his paycheck to me. He's going to be doing some very important intellectual shows this Thursday and Friday, tomorrow and Friday, about nuclear physics, or just general physics. And he's going to be doing some more anti-Jew shows. And I'm going to, just take his paycheck and see if I can last for like a half an hour out there. 15 minutes. Hey, is that bonus coming on this paycheck? Oh! Let's hear it for George. And did he ever tell you, bum fork in there, did he ever tell you when the book is coming out? No. See, I'm getting started with this radio stuff again. I know you don't want to hear about it, but it just bugs my ass and every other part of me too that it's so slipshod here. Why can't we get some frickin' information? When is it?
Monday the 23rd at 11:30.
Oh, during the middle of the show. I might show up that day. I might have to come back from Vegas again. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back. Take all that money I have in Xerox, what's left of it, as in about
$50.
And what did I tell you? Wasn't I the one person that told you that no matter what stock you got, whether it's IBM, whether it's Cisco, whether it's no matter what it is, in a couple of months it's going to be worth $8 a share, no matter what it's worth now. Because that's the direction we're headed in. And I hate to break the news to you, but the NASDAQ is in the minus again, only 20 points, but it's heading that direction again. Even though Sun Microsystems just came out with stellar earnings, they beat the street by 3 cents a share. Does anybody care?
No.
No. Here's Fort Myers. Hello. Fort Myers.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I was undecided yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I made up my mind.
Yes?
It's got to be all Al. I thought he'd kick some ass.
Al?
He kicked some ass last night.
He did.
There's no question about it.
How come we're not hearing more of that? It was pretty obvious.
I can't vote for a guy who keeps biting the inside of his lip. Did you happen to see that part?
Yes, I did. Between the snorting and the sniffling.
Just constantly biting his lip.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, too,
He should have been biting his tongue before he made those stupid comments.
Yeah, he was also talking about insurance. You know how they say it in Texas? Insurance.
Yeah. Well, he's a good old boy. They have a great time with him at the barbecue.
Yeah, the one thing he made a big mistake, too, is when they asked him about the tax cut. You know, Larry said, does it favor the rich? He came out and he said, explicitly, he said, of course it does.
Yeah, he didn't say it exactly that way, but he doesn't deny it because he says, well, everybody ought to get a tax cut. And he never specifically answers the question. No. He always does a tap answer around it, and that should be the tip-off right there. If he can't answer the question, it shows you that whatever accusation just been made is true.
Yeah, with the health care thing, he didn't have any specifics.
No.
No numbers.
No.
Obviously, he probably can't count up to 10, so it doesn't matter, but let me ask you something. Did you know about this special that's on PBS tonight called Critical Condition?
No.
I would encourage you to watch it. Okay, it's a PBS special. It's about the healthcare crisis. It's with Hedrick Smith.
Okay.
Watch that show if you get a chance. My brother works for Kaiser Permanente, and it's kind of a good one. They're a non-profit, which is rare for an HMO.
Right.
But they're having a lot of problems.
What time is it on? What time is it on?
It's on, I think, at 8 o'clock.
Okay, I'll get it.
Thanks.
Oh, here's another quote. When he was on hardball, softball, probably with Chris Matthews on MSNBC, May 31st of this year, Bush says, first of all, Cinco de Mayo is not the Independence Day. That's the 16 de Septiembre. And Matthews says, what's that in English? Bush, 15th of September. The 16 de Septiembre, 15th of December, as in, yeah. And I can understand if it was like the ACC, maybe a little mistake there. The only problem is 15 is the word for 15 in Espanol. Even I know that from high school Spanish. So you're a little bit off there, Georgie boy. You moron. 28 after 1 at 560 QM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Why are you airing shit like this?
Will they reach the new fall season? It kicks off this week. Many critics give it boos and cheers. Hey, bring back cheers. The new fall season blows. Lots of shows canceled before even the cast knows. Actors hoping for a major score. Most shows are aboard. The new fall season blows.
Yeah! All right, let's have a look at it. How was that Michael O'Malley show? Yes, dear. Not close. Can you believe Third Rock is still on the air? Oh, my God. How about two guys and a girl? What happened to the pizza place? Why did Bette Midler get a TV show? I'd like to wring her chicken neck. And that Michael Richards? I'd like Miss Kramer, but give me a break. And Gina Davis. Oh, but I like what she was wearing at the award show. Oh! I do her.
Hold on tight. Another crummy show debuts tonight. Hollywood is spending major cash. Just bring back mass. The new fall season blows. Though they try, I'd rather just sit down and watch paint dry. It's an abomination of crime. In prime time, the new fall season blows.
Oh, well, let me tell you about that. 134 at 560 WQM. Now, our friend Chuck from the Sub-Center over on the corner of 441 and Oxbury Road, our good buddy from the Sub-Center. And he's still a good guy, but he came in, I haven't seen Chuck in a while. This is the second time this has happened to me since I got the cast off my hand. See, when you have the cast on, it's obvious that nobody's going to shake you or whatever hand the cast is on. When I went for my therapy on Monday, and my good close friend, G's Louise over there, I was introduced to her, and she's very nice, and she shook my hand, and of course it happened to be the hand, and I mean hard. I mean, and you know, not a handshake of the whole hand, but like of the fingers, as in mashing all the fingers together, kind of. And Chuck just came in here and did exactly the same thing. I went, ah, like that, and he said, oh, gee, I'm sorry. Ah!
Maybe you should paint it red like a warning sign.
And the finger too, yeah. I know a lot of people that ought to paint it red like a warning sign. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Hank was just in here. He said he agrees with me that National Airlines, he's already told you this, National Airlines is the best.
Oh!
Great. Great service, great 757s, not those little pump jumpers, and they get you there early and they come back early and they're just efficient. They can get it done. No hassle. Here's a mobile in West Palm Beach. Hello.
Yeah, hi, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Neil, I got a couple things I've been, just thinking about for a long time.
Okay, let them out.
Well, one is, why can't the Democrats explain to the public how the real liars in every campaign are the Republicans? They always deal in the big lie.
So Democrats don't lie?
Democrats of being liars.
Uh-huh.
And they've always done that ever since Nixon beat Helen Gahagan Douglas.
Right.
It's always been
Well, she was another communist,
Some of the other things I've been thinking about is this.
The pink lady.
Yeah, right.
Thought it was a dream.
That's really, somehow or other, the Democrats need to make it clear to the public, because the public just doesn't get that.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Well, the public doesn't get much.
That's for sure. The other thing I wanted to say is this. Bush has executed more people than most of the people he's executed have killed. He's executed 180 people.
Yeah.
The people he executes, maybe they've killed one or two people. And this guy just keeps pulling the switch.
Mm-hmm. Including retarded people, you don't want to listen, retarded people, and also people who had the sleeping lawyer syndrome from their court-appointed prosecutors. Public defenders. How'd you like to have that? How'd you like to have a public defender? Your life is on the line. You're on trial for murder. And your attorney sleeps halfway through or maybe through three-quarters of it. Which shocks the hell out of me that could ever happen, but it does happen. It's well documented in this book, Is Our Children Learning? So let me ask you, is our children learning?
No.
No. 5670560, pound 560. See, so as much as I'm going to vote for Gore, and he does come across much better in terms of education with all the new teachers and this and that, I still don't believe that either one of them really gives a flying crap about education. We don't want to educate the people in this country because an educated electorate becomes very dangerous. Once people are smart, then you can't pull this kind of shenanigans and say that this is a political campaign for president. People would laugh at you. But when you're dealing with uneducated dumb people who are busy watching Jerry Springer all day, then it's easy to put this on and say, oh, well, this one he had his veins were popping out of his head and the other one was frowning too much. Yeah. Well, that's a good reason to vote. I haven't had a fact just a minute ago about how Bush was drinking too much water. Maybe he's back to that drinking problem. Could be. Maybe it's kind of like simulating, tipping the glass to the puss. You think that's part of the 15-step program? Those are the last three that we never heard about before. That's one of them. Yeah. You drink a lot of water and you keep tilting the glass toward your puss and you think you're drinking the good stuff. And you know something? From some of his answers, maybe he was. Maybe that's why he kept snorkeling and snorkeling there the whole night last night and doing that. Can you imagine what his nasal passages must look like? 22, remember time passages? Let's have a song called Nasal Passages. 22 before 2 at 560 WQM. There you go, Boca Brian. That should keep you busy. Maniac.
I hate the Irish. Hi, honey. Gotta go.
Say, you're not leaving for work without a high-fiber breakfast, are you?
Gee, I don't have time for breakfast.
Well, then try one of these. It's a sun-kicked pitted prune.
A sun-kicked pitted prune? There's fiber in this?
You bet. You get 10 times the fiber you need with every bite.
Sweet. Delicious. Uh-oh. Out of my way.
Say, where you going now? Oh, well, you'll love the taste of new sun-kicked pitted prunes, now with 10 times the fiber to keep you healthy. Right? Right?
Be right out. A little plumbing problem.
Okay.
143 at 560 WQAM. So this is what we got for tomorrow's poll. You think we ought to do it today? Let's put it up now, because this one is obvious, huh? Is it worth voting in this year's election? 273 yes, 84.5%. Only 50 people said no. 15 lazy idiots. 15%. So let's change the poll again. Why the hell not? Keep Eric on his toes. Give him something to do over there. Maybe the exercise will lose an ounce or two. What? What do you give me a look like that for? Is he sensitive about being fat?
Oh, I don't know. He better not be.
Why should he be? He's a pretty fat guy. He's a growing boy, you know. I can't. Maybe moving from here to the computer will, like, eat up half a calorie. Can't hurt. Why are you laughing so hard? He's a big, chubby guy, Eric. He's great. We love him. He does a spectacular job. Our website's the best in the world. But he's fat. This station is all about fat. Right? So here's our new poll question. Now, I don't even remember how I phrased this. Who's got the best zits? Who's got the best or the worst? Depends on how you look at it.
Worst complexion.
Who's got the worst complexion? Davy Johnson, former Mets, and of course, Braves second baseman. Davy Johnson, former Dodgers manager, just fired, of course. Wayne Hypinga, James Woods. What other movies was he in besides the Once Upon a Time in America, James Woods?
Golly, lots of them.
He played Roy Cohn in that, whatever that...
Citizen Cone.
Was that the name of the movie?
Yes.
Oh. My favorite part of that movie was when Roy Cohn walked up to the president, and the president stood there, and Nixon looked at him and said,
"You're gay."
That was my favorite part. Edward James Olmos, who's almost an actor, but don't tell him, and Bryan Adams, who's almost a singer, but not quite, not even close. That's not a bad five. If there were any others, I don't think there's anybody in that category. The worst complexion in the history of the human race: Davy Johnson, Wayne Huizenga, James Woods, Edward James Olmos, or Bryan Adams. Good choice.
Noriega.
Oh yeah, Manuel,
the original Pineapple Head.
Yeah, Manuel Noriega. Yeah, I'll put him on there. See, now you're making it complicated for poor Eric, but that might be another 2 calories right there. Yeah, he's probably typing it in lightly. You don't want to overexert. That's the way I look at it. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Okay.
Getting back to the people have been talking about Gore, and they talk about the Bush. To me, that's a circus of clowns in the political arena. You know?
Yeah.
Why not
that's what we got. That's what we got.
But why not throw O.J. Simpson into the mix? The problem is...
Why not throw him into the lake?
He's going to play with his monkey too much.
Oh, God. So sad. So pathetic. There's another political maven for you right there. There's another educated American with a great sense of humor. Not. 5670560, pound 5, and that's an adult. See, this is the thing about doing the show like almost 25 years now, is these are adults. These aren't like children. They're overgrown children, many of them, but these are adults. People who have lived long enough to have like maybe a half a brain, maybe a little growth somewhere in their body.
Rectum.
Yeah, that too. And they're still like little chillins. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Don't forget the specs. Get into specs and pick up your best of stuff. Now, they're going to be going out tomorrow, or they're just going to be sitting around with that circle jerk like they were doing in there today. Miguel had an awful happy look on his face. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, if Al Goldstein's listening on his computer in Amsterdam today, I spoke to Ron Jeremy last night, and he said he's very disappointed. He said, you're not nearly as tight as you used to be before you moved to Amsterdam, whatever that meant. Here's a Mobile in Aventura. Hello. Mobile in Aventura.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
Your skin complexion. You forgot Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Also, I was watching that debate last night, and George Bush is just a moron. There's no other words. I mean, people could say what they want about him. He is the stupidest person I've seen run for president in all my life.
If you look up dumb, his picture is next to it in the dictionary.
Yeah, but you know who's right there in the same class? There's people that were watching the debate, and there's like, whatever, this polling place.
The Hocus Pocus group, yeah.
Oh my God, the best was this one woman afterwards, this balding fat bitch. They asked her, what impressed you? Oh, well, Governor Bush impressed me with his gun safety issue.
Yeah.
What gun safety? There isn't any, you idiot.
Well, maybe she likes going to church, and where they bring the guns into church in Texas, maybe she likes that. She feels safe.
And then that other dumb woman in that
and those concealed gun permits where they're all running around shooting each other, all these ex-felons, but anyway.
Yeah, and then the best was this woman that asked Bush, what are you going to do about this, like, propaganda or, like, however she phrased it, that our kids are getting.
Yeah, morality.
Yeah, this morality. What are you doing about it, honey? Are you, like, watching over your kids? What's your job as a parent?
Right. I thought Tipper Gore was going to come running out of the crowd and start making a speech. Thank God she didn't.
I thought she was going to come out and start making out with her. It would have been kind of funny, huh?
That would have been interesting.
Hey, take care.
Okay, see you at the Look-In bedroom. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Yeah, I want to express my sympathy for them dead people that died, today, yesterday, or well, you know them dead people. What I'm talking about. They're dead. Those guys. I'm pretty sorry. But anyway, I want to, with all the sincerity of a rattlesnake, come on, Georgie, who are you kidding, baby? And you see, I realized that wasn't scripted, but even the dumbest of advisors knew, and they had the moment of silence there, and Jim Lehrer put his head down, which, but even the dumbest of the dumb knew that they were going to be given a chance to make that comment before they started answering the first question. As a matter of fact, if Jim Lehrer would have wanted to be fair, which he never was during the whole thing, he would have said, I'm sure that both of you would like to make an opening remark in light of what's happened here in Missouri, and there's a lot, instead of taking up the time from Gore's first answer, which was an important question, but it took up 90% of his time with his sympathy speech. And then Bush came back and said, well, who was it that died, or whatever the hell he said, something like that, yeah. Are they dead? Are they still dead? And for you idiots out there that are always pushing the Libertarian Party as being so different and a great alternative, you're out of the closet on this show. Calling all Libertarians, vote for Bush, it says, from the Libertarians. Piece of propaganda by Monty Dunn in a Libertarian propaganda sheet. So they don't even want you to vote for Fudge Brown, or whatever their candidate's name is. They want you to vote for Bush, because the Libertarians are a bunch of closet fascists. And I've always told you that. They make the Republicans look like a bunch of good-time Charlies. They make Pat Buchanan look like Mr. Rogers.
Oh, God!
No, not that Mr. Rogers. 10 before 2 at 5. I don't wear those sneakers or those funny little sweaters. Bad for my image. 10 before 2 at 560 WQA.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
You're gay.
It be Alonzo morning. And Alonzo, he ain't feeling good. There's the best we got the Fort Post tragedy. Can't play no basketball now. Cause his kidney hurts and he might be falling down. What could they work for nothing town? Let's have a big booty with bad kids who can bounce the ball. Play no mo.
Taking you live now to the press conference already in progress.
Boulder. I don't know what I've been told. They say the woman has got no soul. Now, here be my doctor.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Marky Tyson from Columbia University, New York. And I'm here to assure you that I had a very good DM today. Thank you.
157 at 560 WQAM. So far, the third poll of the day is up, man. We're running through these like halava in a Schmidt house. Who has the worst complexion? Manuel Noriega's got one, and guess who else has got one? Well, the poll just came up, so that's all we got, so I guess I must have voted for one of those, huh? Yeah. I'll let you guess which one. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Great.
Actually, I have someone that I can add to your poll, and then I have another comment about the debate.
Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't say about Randy Johnson. You know, the pitcher that was for the Mariners that you played.
Yeah, I never really thought about him. Yeah, he's kind of faded into obscurity now that he's pitching for a minor league team, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I was watching the debate, and there was a part of the debate I can't believe Al Gore didn't jump on. When Bush mentioned
that there was going to be a federal program for like religious after school something for the kids. I mean, did you catch that? He said it so quick. I can't believe Gore didn't jump on that.
Well, no, but you see, this is the problem with the strategy, is that Gore and his people are so terrified to offend the goody two-shoes. That's why they got Lieberman running around trying to out-goody two-shoes the Republicans, which is a very bad mistake.
But what happened to the separation of church and state?
You'll have to ask the Orthodox Jews in Hollywood.
But in addition, on top of that, I'm watching.